So what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Welcome back to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We are live here on this amazing Tuesday night, as always, for our panel conversations, guys. I really hope you enjoyed tonight because we got a special treat. Well, first of all, I think you all already know about what went down today. We basically got our final count on how many draft picks that we're gonna have. I'm excited about it. Man, as soon as the chatter started about it, I just, oh my gosh, we're so close. It's getting closer and closer and closer. Man, here we go. And just to know that we have that many, 14, if I'm not mistaken, is, man, it should make you smile. That's just a lot of players or talent that we're gonna get into those things this evening. We also talk about the new wide receiver coach, or I shouldn't say new, the promoted wide receiver coach, and maybe some CBA things, and then go to everyone in the comment section to see what you all are thinking. But without further ado, I want to bring in the homie himself, the reason that we're here, and it's all orange tonight. What's up, homie?
What's good, homie? Man, I'm hyped. Like, we can control the draft however. I don't. It's just like this has got to be almost unprecedented. I don't know if anyone's been able to have this kind of control. I mean, we got 10 picks in the first 5 rounds. So, I mean, it's a good time to be a Dolphin fan, especially when you add in that financial capital we got in free agency. It's crazy.
Super Bowl, baby.
I mean, this is perfect way to start building that foundation for a legitimate, consistent Super Bowl contender. This is where it should start, right? So, got to knock it out of the park, Mr. Chris Greer.
Yep, he's on the clock. He's on the clock. We're going to get into more of that. Welcome, Reason. Welcome, bro. And shout out everybody to the Don Dada himself, Esteban. What's up, homie?
What's up, y'all?
How you feel, man? Talk to me about the news today. 14 picks?
Man, I feel good about it, bro. I think we're definitely gonna figure out how good our coaches are at scouting, bro. That's for sure. So hopefully some of that look that the Patriots have is gonna, come our way. That mentality is just I'm ready, bro. It's a culture change, man, and it's just something that I've been waiting for a while, man. This is definitely a culture change. It's something that I've been waiting for, just to be come out of mediocrity and be a legit perennial contender year after year. That's my expectations, and it starts with this draft, man. I can't wait.
I don't think no one can wait at this point, man. This is just crazy. Things are starting to shape up for this team. It's just now it's decision time, guys. That's what matters the most. It's decision time. That's all that matters. That's all that matters, man. I know that we're happy about the picks and everything else, which we're about to get into because I'm excited. But at the end of the day, while we live in our fantasy world of what we feel should happen or what we want to happen, it still has to happen. Decisions. So with that being said, I want to ask both of you guys. I want to start out with Reason. What is Greer thinking and Flores thinking right now? To you, what are they thinking right now in their minds about having 14 draft picks and some money in free agency? What do you think is on their mind?
Like I said, I think if they identify a player, any player, whether it's a quarterback, an edge, whatever, they can go and get them. So I think that's why the scouting is even that more important, because if we get into trades, but even whether it's in the late rounds, you know what I mean? Whether it's in the fifth, I mean, we've got 3 picks in the 5th. So if you're moving one of those, to move up, whether we only got 1 pick in the 4th and 1 pick in the 3rd, right? So if, let's say you want to package your 4th and if one of those 5th to move up higher in the 4th to go get a guy that you got on your board that's slipping, I mean, you can go do that. We talked about it before we went live. We've got 6 picks up until 70, right? But then after 70, our next pick is until 141. So you got a gap of 71 picks where I'm sure anybody, because if I'm already sitting there looking at that and saying, that's a 71 pick gap. That's, 2 rounds and 10 picks, basically. That's a lot. And, you're going to lose a lot of talent. Me and Esteban were talking about a lot of the interior guys are probably going to go in that area, it's looking like. So I could very well see them moving back up into the early hundreds or even before 100 to go get an interior guy. Or, we were talking about Josh Uch, or we were talking about Troy Dye. If someone like that slips, go get that guy up there. You know what I mean? So I think they're looking at how they're going to maneuver and how they can control this whole draft.
So reason, based off of what you just said, well, educate me. Which round is this where we're in a drought?
So our last pick is 70th, right?
That's third round.
Yep. And then we don't make another pick until 141.
And is that the end of the fourth?
That is, I believe that's the end of the fourth. That's our 1/4 round pick.
Wow. So, and then, okay, I see what you're saying.
And then we got 153, 162, 165, 185.
Because you're missing out on a lot of talent in that gap.
That's a big gap. That's where a lot of
teams are taking some good talent over what you're going to be selecting in the fourth, late in the fourth or early fifth.
Exactly. You go from basically the top of the third all the way to the bottom of the fourth without making a pick.
This is I like the observation of you bringing that up because that is a concern. That's the one thing that coaches, general managers hate. I don't care if you play Madden or you do fantasy. When it's draft time, you hate sitting there waiting. It's almost like picking number 1 and then you in a draft in a fantasy draft and you have to wait all the way to number 24 and so I understand that, but do you think, Reason, this is where they get creative? We have 3 second-round picks. You take one of those bad boys and you get you 2/3. You take one of those thirds and get you 2/4 and be done with it.
I think that's where you have to get creative in that area. I don't think you can wait that amount of picks. I mean, that's 71 is a big gap. Like, that's a lot, man. I don't think you can wait that long. It's crazy. We have 6 picks up until 70. We have this like plethora until we get till 70, and then all of a sudden we're gonna hit this dry spell. And in that dry spell, because of the needs we have, in that, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if some of those picks were moved up, and that 141 was like 101. Or 90 or 97, even if it's 20, 30 picks ahead, that's cool. But, that's a big gap. So.
Well, one thing that I've changed on, I guess I haven't changed. It's just I never had a strong opinion on it, but it's the fact that we have 14 picks, and even myself have admittedly said we're probably only going to be picking about 10 because we'll take some of those picks and move up. But, I'm starting to think otherwise, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Esteban, and then you, Reason. I'm starting to think otherwise because here's why. If we have 4 picks in the 6th and 7th round, knowing that we obviously are going to be a team that has a coaching staff that's going to love undrafted free agents and see what you can find out of it. What's the difference between an undrafted free agent and the 6th and 7th rounder outside of the fact of the contractuals? It's still a project that you hoping you could turn into something. And I think that I think our draft ends at number 5. And everybody we pick in 6th and 7th with those picks are nothing but just the same way we treat undrafted free agents. That's why I think that they might actually use every single pick, because 4 undrafted free agents, even though they're getting drafted, versus trying to trade up to get one guy in the 5th. That's what that value is. If you take your 2 7s and your 2 6, you might get a 5th for it. So, and that's one guy that still is a 5th, and you don't know how that's going to work out. I think that I'm seriously considering the fact that we may be picking 12 players. If and those other 2 are happening early, like if we want to move from number 18 and number 14 or something like that, and we want to add a 3rd rounder or something like that, I think that's where the trading and the shifting will come. But late in those rounds, I think we're picking players. What's your thought, Esteban?
I'm gonna go with what you said, for the reason that if you're getting undrafted free agents, you don't know how high their ceiling is going to be. You might have an idea, but these guys that are already in the league, you can gauge more or less where they're at, and basically at that point, what you're doing is you're just trying to see how you can possibly use them or incorporate them into the team, and you know what you're getting. It's at face value, man. But these other guys coming out of the draft, man, they're young, and I believe that a coach is always going to go on the side of youth at this point, if you're in this predicament, because I don't know any coach that doesn't believe that that their ideals and their teaching can convert, or they like to see that. So yeah, and then financially it makes sense because they're cheap. So I think it makes all the sense in the world, man. I think also what you had talked about earlier about us having all these picks, man. I know I'd mentioned it earlier when we were talking before we started the stream. But I think that these late rounds, we're definitely going to have to figure out where we're going to get them from. They're going to have to be like D2 schools, like I had mentioned, and I think that we need to find. I know we need to find at least a couple of wide receivers that we can bring into camp and see if we can get some depth so that we have some trade value for next year's draft and replace somebody on our roster with a new guy. You know what I mean? That way we can possibly make a trade and get some more draft capital for next year. I think that's what you need to do at the back half of the draft is create depth and figure out a way to improve next year's draft capital so that this is actually an issue going from 70 to 140. That's like 70 picks later. So
you see us because Reason brought this up earlier. So you see us taking picks from this year and trading them for picks next year?
Possibly, yeah.
To basically gear up for next year as well?
Yeah, man. I mean, if there's a way that we can get maybe a 5th round pick and turn it into a 4th round pick somehow, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whatever avenue you got to take to get, because the 4th round pick, you know what I mean? You can do something with that. That's the way I see it. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't see them using. We got a lot of late picks. We're pretty heavy at the back end of the draft, man. We got a lot of picks at the back half. I don't know what we're gonna get out of that. So I think we need to plan for next year to kind of be a little top heavy. This year, we're kind of like a sandwich. We got 2 buns, but we don't have no lettuce and tomatoes and meat to go in the middle, man.
No, I agree with that. And my wife done hijacked the comment section. Hey, babe.
Hi, Heller.
What's going on?
She done hijacked the comment section. Anywho, she said she was going to bed early tonight, but obviously not. Anywho, so I want to get your guys' take on this real quick before we come back to the 14 picks. I want to go ahead and get it out of the way because I don't want to forget. What do we know about our new wide receiver coach?
Gizzard or whatever his name is, Josh Gizzard.
Yeah, the Gizzard man.
I'm actually not up to. I'm not up on him other than like the bit I read about him today.
Yeah, neither am I, man.
Yeah, it's not much. He's a Yale guy. He graduated from Yale. He got 3 NFL years of experience. He was out there coaching, not coaching, but doing a little bit of coaching, but the quality control manager with Duke. So they brought him into the NFL. He was a quality control assistant. Then he got promoted to quality control basically the top of the quality control. Then he was the assistant wide receivers coach, and now he was here during Devontae Parker rise as an assistant. Okay. And he's basically now promoted to the actual wide receivers coach. So this is a young guy who has an opportunity. So I want to keep my eyes on him, because these are the type of resumes that are so short right now, but as time goes, success can make it actually. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a guy like this moving up to assistant coordinator and things like that within 2 to 3 years with this organization. So just keep your eyes out on that. And then maybe he gets promoted somewhere else and goes off to be a coordinator at another team. But that's how. But I'm going to see what he does. I'm going to follow that, because I want to start doing that more, following these coaches on these rosters.
The positional coaches.
Exactly, because some of these guys don't get the credit they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done anything on this linebackers coach that we're getting from it? I'm telling you, man, this linebackers and running backs, that's my thing. But have you followed anything anything up on this guy that we got?
No, I was for a little bit familiar with Gizzard, because I saw him on our coaching staff last year. And I did a little research on a lot of these guys from last year, but not the newest guys. I'm still going to be looking into them. Gizzard was already on the team. Again, I'm the type of person, because I'm going to have a series on that throughout the summer anyway. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think this guy that we got from Michigan, man, we're definitely going to hit another gear with.
Are you a Michigan fan? You're not a Michigan fan, are you?
No, I'm not, bro. I'm not.
No, just the way you're glowing about Josh Uche, and now you're glowing about the linebackers coach. That's why I was gonna say, I hope you're not a Shea Patterson fan, bro. Or we gotta talk.
We got. Maybe we. Hey, bro, I gotta give it to him, man. I like the linebackers that come out of Michigan, bro.
Oh yeah.
This year, man, they had a nice group. So if we get this guy over here, man, I can only imagine what he's gonna do with the guys that we got.
Well, they also had Donovan Peoples-Jones, who I really like as like a late sleeper as a wide receiver. Like, that's the thing, you're talking about wide receiver. You know, we got 3 picks in the 5th. I was telling TD this. You know, I think that's where we can get. You know, I really like Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. And I think that's where we can get a guy like Tyler Johnson. You know, he's really good in the red zone. He led the nation in red zone touchdowns. You know, a guy like KJ Hill from Ohio State, he might slip and he might be there. You know what I mean? You got Juwan Jennings from Tennessee. He might be there. You got Colin Johnson from Texas. He might be there. You know what I mean? You got Quintez Cephas, who a lot of people are sleeping on from Wisconsin.
What about Duvernay, bro, from Senior Bowl? Duvernay from Texas. Man, I'm telling you.
Oh, he's gonna be gone. He's gonna be gone before Colin Johnson, brother. Yeah, I think that guy's in a lot of people's top 15s.
I want a wide receiver this year. That way we can. I know it sounds. I might be in over my head making this statement, but eventually we're gonna have to get rid of Parker, bro. I like him, man, but I mean, unless he's gonna take the home team discount, bro. You know, we got to plan to move on from him, man. Possibly get some draft capital out of that, you know. So,
out of who?
Parker. He's saying Parker.
Oh, you mean trade?
This man's already plotting Parker's demise in Miami.
Yeah, man.
Trade Parker?
Yeah, bro, we got to look down the road already. Like, it's like a long-term deal, man. I mean, it's like a long-term vision of success, and it's coming, man.
But he could be a part of that, because he has.
He's going to be key for any young quarterback we bring in. I think he's going to be a key piece.
Like, say he has a very productive career, he has at least 6 more years in him.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to understand that here's the plus about being injured all the time. When you're no longer injured, now you don't have as many miles on yourself. Think about all the miles that he skipped, all the wear and tear that he hasn't even experienced yet, the grit and grind of being in pain. And I'm sure he's been in pain in the NFL, but he's been hurt almost quite a bit.
But you don't think we can move on from him if we get another wide receiver and just get draft capital?
Yeah, but not this year. I mean, at a minimum, I want to get at least 2 good years of that contract out of him. because if he can continue on this trajectory, we got to have a weapon like that. Now I can
What
see
wide
if
receiver? What wide receiver do you think we can get draft capital that's decent and like maybe third or fourth round pick? Because we got some wide receivers, man. I think
you got to trade Albert Wilson. You got that would have to be a trade if you wanted to hold on to that salary and then trade it.
Yeah, you need Preston Williams to really continue to come into his own too.
You don't want to give away Preston Williams right now because you won't get the value that he may actually be worth.
No. I mean, like, you need Preston Williams to come into his own for you to even think about moving Parker.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that. That's my expectation, man.
No, you can't get not reason, but Esteban. Then you'd be gambling. You're gambling. Like, we can get a year of Preston Williams becoming that guy and then talk about Parker in that way. But we have to make sure that the short stint that Preston gave us is sustainable. Imagine trading away Parker and Preston Williams is a bum now. Then what?
yeah. Or he has another injury.
Then we'd be talking about our new quarterback don't even have weapons.
Yeah.
Man, now that I think about it, that might just not be a good move to think about moving either one of those guys just because of this. I mean, Preston's already had an injury.
Yeah, right now
we got to worry about replacing Albert Wilson in that slot right now. I think.
Man, I think that's what I would do, man. I would just figure out a way to
build get Tyler Johnson, bro,
for next year, bro. Somehow figure out a way to get some picks for next year. You know,
that's what I think. That's what I was going to say earlier. I think with the 6th and the 7th, right? Because we got 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. If there's someone in the 5th or someone in the 4th where I can package that worth one of my 5th or one of my 4th picks to move up in said rounds to go get guy, then okay. But if I can't and I got those 4 picks sitting back there, I'm trying to move those off next year for like, I'll trade you my 6th this year for 6th and the 7th next year. I'll give you my 7th this year for like a 7th next year and a 6th the year after. You know what I mean? So, like, I'll just continue adding to because those 4 picks, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if we all can sit here to admit that those guys are going to be UDFAs anyways, why not get more capital off of it and just get them as a UDFA? That's how I would perceive it. So, because the one thing I've always said Flores has been consistent about since he joined the Patriots day one, he said that he's always watched the waiver wire and the UDFAs like hawks. Like, he always watches like hawks, and he's always been – that's been one of his strong points when he was in the scouting department, even with the Patriots. So I trust that we could move said 4 picks in the 6th and the 7th, and we'd still get guys off the waiver wire or UDFA that are just as good and will get the job done just as much as those because those are massive projects usually in the 6th or the 7th, unless you got a guy was a big recruit out of high school and then like a 5-star recruit, and then he had injuries or character issues, et cetera, and then he just slipped somehow, right? But
you just hit the jackpot.
Man, dude, I listened to the stream yesterday, but I had to go to bed, work issues the next day. But so I heard Finsanity talking about Simmons, man, and I'm glad she said that because I feel like I was crazy when I had mentioned earlier this year we were watching that Clemson game. I don't remember who they were playing, but I think it was the Ohio State game, man. And I was just like, there's just so much you can do with the guy, man. I mean, I've seen him do stuff that Uche does where they put him on the end. I see him drop back into coverage from the linebacker spot, covering tight ends, bro. I mean, wide receivers, he does it all, man. And I wouldn't mind drafting him at 5 and trying to figure out, is it possible? Because I know you know this Johnson chart better than I do, Reason. Moving from 18 into the top 10 somehow to get Love and maybe trading a 5th, a 6th, and some other pick that doesn't have anything to do with the top half of the draft. Or like maybe, I don't know, man. Do you see that a way that we could do that possibly? Because I would like to trade up.
I feel like to get back into the top 10, you're going to have to give your 18th and your 26th. Or you're going to have to give your 18th and a bunch of your 2nd and 3rd round capital.
You don't think you could trade the 18th pick and give them, a fifth and a sixth.
Like, for example, just an example, the 153rd pick of the draft, right? So we're right in the middle of the draft there. It's worth like 30 points. You know what I mean? Once you get out of the top 100, like the 101st pick is worth like 96 points on the chart. So you're really not going to start accumulating numbers with those at past 100 picks. So that's why I'm saying you'd have to use like your 70th, your 56th, your 39th, your 26th, and your 18th. And with all those picks, you'd have to become creative, but you would lose a capital. I think it would cost more in terms of capital to move up from 18 into the top 10 than it will from 5 to 3.
Okay, how about 18, a fifth, a sixth, and Albert Wilson?
Isn't he a free agent? Isn't he? Are we going to cut him probably?
I don't know, bro. I would act like I'm going to keep him.
Because, yeah, I think he'd save like $8 million this year.
If we keep him, it's only because we know we're going to have the money for the year.
Yeah.
And we're not going to we're going to have more than we need to carry over.
Yeah.
Bro, if we could figure out a way to jump up, if they could figure out a way to jump up.
Esteban, you'd have to use picks from next year. That's what you'd have to do. Because we already have 2 firsts next year. We have the seconds and the thirds. You just have to use stuff from next year. And
then you'd have to figure out a way to get those picks back.
EM said something that was interesting to me, and I want to know, do y'all think you could easily get at least a second for Parker at this point right now?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a guy that should have made the Pro Bowl, bro.
Yeah, 110%. Everyone, even players, hit social media and we're talking about that was a snub. So, you'd get at least a second for him right now. Right now is his highest value he's ever had, right? Because he's healthy and he produced.
I think you just gotta you're looking at your team and you're looking at the future and you know where you're loaded, and that's the one position that I see that we're loaded, and it would suck to give up Parker, but if it means that we have a future, I would do it, man.
But I mean, can I ask you this question? How loaded are we really? We got Preston Williams, who we all know has a high ceiling, but he's coming off that injury, okay? So, like TD said, he could come back and be boo-boo the foo, bro. You don't know. And then we got Isaiah Ford, and then we got a bunch of guys that we kind of brought up who, let's be honest, on a lot of rosters, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't be cracking the top 2. So we have depth, but we don't have a lot of top 2 depth.
It would be a gamble. I got you. It definitely wouldn't be. It wouldn't help out the turnaround this year, man. It wouldn't help out the turnaround. This would be, I guess my idea would put us in a predicament where you would be looking to next year to have the big turnaround. And I don't think I want to wait that long, bro. I want to win next year, bro. I'm with TD. Before it even came out of TD's mouth, when he said 10-6, bro, that's what I was already at. When he said 10-6, I'm like, let's do it, man. Let's just sneak into the playoffs somehow. Get some momentum and let's do this, man. Let's go get that ring already, man.
Man, you already know what time it is, Esteban. We're gonna win one every year unless they cheat us, which they always do. But anyway, I don't see Parker being worth a second right now.
Oh, I don't see him being worth a first.
Okay, the second half of the season was worth a second.
And his age, he's only 26.
Yeah, but a second, I was gonna give it a very good third, and literally the stock can go to a first this year if he backs that up with a full year. But we're talking about
look at how many teams have good quarterbacks and need a wide receiver, man. There's a lot of teams that are just,
Yeah,
you're telling me the Eagles wouldn't give us a second for Devontae Parker,
But I guess the main question I need to ask is, would we even care for a second for him?
Bro, there's a lot of talent coming in this year and next year. So,
well, yeah,
I don't know,
the deepest wide receiver class we've probably ever seen. So you could actually probably turn that. I mean, Laviska Shenault is dropping to a second round projection. You go get that guy, and he's a lifelong Dolphins fan. And I mean, talented guy, right? So, I mean, there is talent there, but
you would take a second round pick for Parker.
I didn't say that. Oh, I didn't say
Okay,
that.
that's what I wanted.
No.
That's where I wanted to
I'm
get
just
to.
saying you could turn it into something in the wide
But
receiver class. Is all I'm saying.
there's just those teams that are always they flirt with guys that are free agents or guys that are established athletes in the league, man. And I think teams like the Cowboys are a prime example, man. They cherry pick guys from other teams and try to plug them in and try to make it work, man. I mean, and they pay. You know what I mean? They did it with Cooper, so that's a team that I see would definitely go for Parker. And in my opinion, I think they
I
would.
just think when you add in his age and what he did last year, and we all pretty much can agree that whether it's Herbert, Love, or Tua, or even Burrow, we're drafting someone probably this year. I think he would just be too instrumental for where we're at in our rebuild and that growth and development, and having that safety outlet for our quarterback as he grows up, especially a guy who's been in Miami his whole career. You know what I mean? He's gone with all these regime changes. I just think if he was, 28, 29, okay, I think we're talking a different story right now. But I just think of where he is right now. I don't think it's a conversation at all.
I got a question for y'all because I don't know why, man. Dude, I was thinking about this today. I really feel like we're gonna trade back, bro. I really feel that, like, you just have those epiphanies, bro, throughout the day. I don't know why I was like, we're gonna trade back, and I started going through all this. We're gonna, it had something to do with some of the stuff y'all were talking about yesterday. I was like, man, bro, if you just look at all the writings on the wall, bro, it just feels like we're gonna trade back to get more picks, man. I don't know why. It just feels that way. Like maybe somewhere it's still inside the top 10, possibly. I don't know exactly how. Maybe with Jacksonville, maybe to get you could trade back that fifth pick, still get a quarterback, and pick something up maybe in the third round on top of that. Possibly, I don't know. Get another third round pick.
The reason why I don't see us trading back is because usually when people trade up into the top 5, it's for a quarterback. It's not for an edge. It's not for a linebacker. I think they're gonna, if they don't take Tua or a quarterback, I think they're gonna take the highest player on their board at 5.
But what if it's a quarter? What if we know we just have that feeling that we can still move back stay in the top 10 and still get the quarterback that we want? You know what I mean?
But who?
I'm just saying they would have to have the insight on that, bro. I mean, it would be like genius, for them to do something like that. But they could. I'm just saying,
when you look at the teams behind them, right, in the top 10, all those teams would leap them to go get a quarterback, not trade with them. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chargers would not trade to move up they would leap them. The Panthers would leap them. And then when you got like Jacksonville, they're not moving up because they don't need a quarterback. No. Arizona isn't moving up. Cleveland's not moving up. And now we're at 10.
I mean, I've thought of that scenario. I honestly feel that they want to leap us. I feel that, bro. But what if it happens, man, that the Giants don't trade their pick, don't trade back. The Lions don't trade back, and Washington stays with put. Cincinnati's in the movie.
But who did they all draft?
Who are they picking in the top 4?
No, who are all those teams taking in your scenario?
Well,
because if Tua isn't in one of those top 4, then we're not trading back, brother. You better order your Tua jersey. If he falls, I'm telling you right now, if we're at 5 and he falls to 5, I don't know what to tell you. I can guarantee you that they'll take him.
I don't know, man. I got a feeling that possibly that might not be the guy, man. I mean, I don't know, man. How would any of us know that it's an absolute, bro? I mean, I really don't feel that way. That
we don't.
I get it, bro.
The media has driven the narrative that that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude. It's just that, man. I like Tua, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater, bro. I just feel that that hip thing, bro. I don't want to be in a predicament where we're being competitive. We're doing good. Something happens, and I mean, the organization has to be thinking about this.
But that could happen to any quarterback.
Yeah, that's also a fact, though, bro. See, we all talk about. See, look, reason. That's why I'm telling you, man. I'm not. There's not a bias with Tua for me. Look, bro. Any quarterback can get injured, bro, and it changes their career where they don't come back from it. You know, where they rehabilitate, come back, and then get injured again. Any quarterback, that can happen to anybody, man. So you still got to give Tua a shot, man. If you feel that he's the guy, you have to give him that shot. You do have to ask yourself that question, dude. That is a legit.
I'm just telling you, the reason why is because they won't have
No
to give up
reason.
any assets, and they'll get the guy that they've coveted since 2018. So
But,
they're just not gonna. I know. I'm not even saying that out of like personal, like my evaluation on the guy. I'm just saying if they're at 5 and the guy falls to 5, it's pretty much a lock. And if Herbert was that guy, I would say the same thing. But I mean,
it's crazy that you're saying that because I've thought about this also, man. And dude, you hit it right on the head because I mean, like, dude, I agree 100% with what you just said, and it's more deep, possibly, in my mind, for me, than for you because I actually thought about that as well, man. And bro, like, you can't just judge. I mean, I'm not saying that I am in favor of drafting Tua, but what I'm saying is you have to be fair. And if you have that mentality that Tua can get hurt, man, you have to come to the reality that any quarterback can get hurt at any time, man. That's just the game, bro. You know what I mean? This guy might actually learn from the fact that he has been injured. That actually might help him in go transition in the NFL to where he learned his lesson, bro, and he's gonna get rid of that ball. Let's sit him for a year. He had success at the collegiate level. He already proved that he's got an arm, that he's got the talent. Now he just needs to slow down so that he can speed up, bro. Like when you're in traffic and you want to pass people and it's like gridlock and there's an opening, if you just let this guy next to you go past you, you get in behind him, and then you can move ahead of most of this traffic, bro. You know what I mean? I feel that should be the mentality, bro, for him.
and you know what happens? Like you remember, like when you play, because he was playing a jabroni team when that happened, right? So when you're in that situation, brother, you're looking for the more often than not, you're looking for the big play because you know you can pull it off no matter what. And like when you actually watch that replay, man, like you can tell he's favoring that ankle, man. I mean, even after the LSU game, after he put on that performance, he was walking off the field with a limp. So like, bro, like, and the one thing I do like is at least he watched that play. And the one thing I do like is that he came away and he reflected on it and he was like, if I just throw the ball away, that doesn't happen. And it's terrible that it took something that severe, but I'm sure he learned his lesson in the worst possible way after that, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to throw the ball away and not look for the big play or
Definitely,
not
man.
look for the first down. Sometimes it's okay to put your body first before the first down because there's nothing there. Get the ball away, man. You know what I mean? Like, and that was, we go back to Rosen, I think it was the Cowboys game. Was it the Cowboys game where he took that sack that almost ended up being a safety? You remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that where he just like froze in the pocket? Bro, I was up on my feet yelling at the screen, throw the ball away. And that was just, he was becoming a prisoner of the moment. He felt the pressure. He wanted to make the play, et cetera, et cetera. Bro, it's okay to throw the ball away in that situation. Like, go
Tannehill
ahead.
actually mentioned that, that was something that he had to, I don't know, I guess relearn, man. I guess this is the way I see it, bro. These guys know their position. They know how to play the position. I'm not going to say that Rosen doesn't know how to play quarterback. I just feel that certain quarterbacks are like boxers, bro. Like they know how to throw their combinations. They know how to throw a left hook. They know how to throw their uppercut, their jab. It's just that when you're in the middle of the battle, bro, you have to have that coach, that corner man, they still have to tell you, use the jab, bro. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the battle. You know that you need to use the jab. You know you need to throw the ball away, but for whatever reason, bro, you're in the heat of the battle and you still don't do it, man. I mean, it sounds simple, and a lot of people wonder why boxers have a corner man. You still need your coach, bro. Some guys they just need that coach, man. I mean, Flores might not be, it might not just, I mean, not Flores. I know that that's not his area, but our whatever coach we have, if it's Chan Gailey, bro, and he might not be the guy for Rosen. I don't know, man. We'll find out. That's just my analysis, and my analogy is, that's why these quarterbacks go through this, man. They have to have the right coach.
Well, what happens? I want to ask y'all this because I want to shift gears just a little, because this is actually a good question. Tua's on the board at 5, and another elite player is on the board at 5, and the Miami Dolphins select not Tua. And is it possible that Tua could slide to the second round? Because people might be concerned at why would the Dolphins pass on him?
The Chargers will take him right after we pass on him.
That's not even a question, man.
You don't think they would be concerned?
We're starting Tyrod. There you go, Tyrod. Go Rocket for a year. Here you go,
bro.
Tua.
I'm not a Tua guy, and I'll even tell you, man, he's projected to be a Pro Bowler, man.
He's gonna be if he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's a perennial Pro Bowler.
Oh
and
he is, TD, bro.
We're literally telling people
he is
that
the best.
a guy who hasn't played a single snap in the NFL.
Yeah, bro, because he is the best. When you break down his film and when you watch him in the pocket, he is the best pocket passer to come out. Bro, it's crazy. His skill set is very similar, other than the arm strength, because Luck had a stronger arm. But if you look at their game, it's very, very similar. It's just that Luck is a bigger build, and Luck had more power. Like he had a stronger arm. But other than that, when you break down their game, it's very, very similar in terms of even the way they would shift up the pocket when the pressure would come from the sides or in the interior, the way they would shift. If you watch it, it's very – I don't know if a lot of people watched Luck back in the day, but it was like at Stanford. Like it's very similar. Like it's kind of crazy. And the way he extended plays, like he's got that sneaky athleticism too, man. I'm telling you. Look, he's the best pocket passer to come out.
Guys like Chase Young, Tua, Isaiah Simmons, Okuda, these guys are all projected to be Pro Bowlers. Those guys, there's no way. That's like asking, that question, you could translate that to any of those guys, and there's no way that any of those guys are going to.
Last year, they probably said the top 5 picks were projected to be Pro Bowlers. I wonder how many of them.
All I know is I sat on here in the middle of the year.
That doesn't mean they're going to make the Pro Bowl.
And told each and every one of you, Kyler was going to be Rookie of the Year, and everyone ganged up on me. Josh Jacobs, I told you watch, and who's Rookie of the Year? Just holla at me. I'm telling you, bro. And Tua is better than Kyler. Kyler's just a faster runner and a better runner, but overall skill set, Tua is better than Kyler Murray. So
I get that, but everybody's sitting here fussing at me in the comment section right now talking about TD. The kid has the it factor. Yeah. I don't know what he has until I see him after this hip injury. I want to see the it post-injury.
Look, this is the way I'd address that. Look, projection doesn't mean that's what is actually going to happen. It's just that's where they projected.
Yeah, that's all.
If the guy is projected to be a Pro Bowler, he's not going in the second round. There's no way.
People want to draft the guy off of projection versus reality to me. But then, no, you still got to take into consideration the severity of the situation, what it could be both ways. We're only looking at the upside of it, but are we really looking at if it don't work out, how that sucks?
Bro, you could trade up to 1 for Burrow and he ends up being a bust.
I agree. I never said I want either of them.
Or you could sit there, Tua goes, and you go get Love or Herbert, and they get hurt day 1, and it's a wrap on their career. You never know, brother. Everything is a gamble. It's just you got guys who are higher risk versus you got guys who are higher risk, higher reward type thing. That's all.
That's the thing about gambling. Every game you play got different odds. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make. Joe Burrow, the odds are much more favorable than Tua Tagovailoa.
Not if he goes to Cincy.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're right. That's a factor too. But there are many factors, and I know it's all, hey, you never know, TD. Yeah, I
want to know a scary thought. I'll give you the scariest Tua scenario right now. Here's your scariest Tua scenario: is he falls to the Colts or to the Patriots?
And it was not a Patriots.
Now,
I thought you meant as scary as in for his career. That would be scary for his
for
career,
us having to deal with him. That's your scary scenario.
I don't even say, man, I'm telling y'all might think it's a joke, but y'all better watch out for Dallas in this last minute.
Why is that, TD?
Because they might very well say, you know what, hit the open market, Dak.
Oh, okay.
Didn't they just offer him the richest contract at signing?
And what did he do?
Yeah, and then they came back yesterday and they offered him something new, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, but
I think you're gonna get a
right
deal
now,
done, bro.
I think it's gonna get done, bro.
Right now, they offer him even more, and they won't even respond to the Cowboys.
Bro, that guy's nuts that he thinks he's worth all that money.
Man, look at this person talk about Dallas does not have the ammo to do it at TD Fins Talk. They can add any one of them offensive linemen in the first round pick and get it done. What are you talking about? Come on, man. They got you go look at that roster. If they purge their roster, they could end up with double what we got. They can end up with double of what we have right now. They'll end up next year with 28 picks in the draft. All that money, man. Come on, man. They got enough to get it done. Y'all thinking some of y'all only looking at draft picks. Y'all not considering adding players and trades.
That's good in theory, but that organization is not that well. You know, they're not gonna do that, bro. They just
all right.
I just look, man. My only thing, addressing that, man. I think they shot themselves in the foot by giving Zeke that contract, man. Now Dak thinks he can. That's why it's happening, man. He
Everybody knows they shot themselves in the foot.
Well, they gave DeMarcus Lawrence way too much money too.
They keep giving people too much, and then the way Zeke's contract is set up, they can't release this man for 3 years. They got to pay him for 3 years regardless. The way that he have it set up is if they don't, the way his contract is set up is like this. If they don't renew the contract the very next year, then they owe me all that dead cap money, right? But then whenever his contract comes guaranteed for the next year, they would have already had to make a decision for the year before. Whoever his agent is a thing of beauty. He worked magic with Zeke's contract. The way it's almost like he's guaranteed to get 3 years of his contract, guaranteed no matter what. Just because of the way they have it set up, they have to guarantee the next year contract in the prior year. It's crazy, or move off of them that early and then still have to pay dead cap. Man, they in trouble. The Cowboys are in trouble, and the only way that they're going to get out of that trouble is doing something drastic by not falling in the
They got to probably restructure like all their linemen again because a bunch of them have already restructured once.
They've already restructured. Some of them got 7-year contracts, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna have to restructure them again. It's gonna be crazy.
That ain't gonna happen. Now you're really they've done so much finagling of the salary cap and stuff that they're so spread thin now.
It's hilarious.
The one that needs to restructure is Zeke, bro. If he's a team player, man, you know what I mean.
I'd be asking DeMarcus to come down from that 18-19 million too, bro.
And none of them gonna do it. You got Cooper to pay, you got Dak to pay, you got an offensive lineman to pay, you got Byron Jones that you probably already know you're gonna let walk. They have it all over that roster, guys. They gotta pay, man.
I'm just glad that we focused on the books this year. And TD, you always talk about, dude. I really never thought about like contracts, man. I know you talk about it a lot, but now I feel like I've learned off of you talking about that. And dude, I'm just glad that we're looking into the future and we're not in that predicament, man. I don't want to be there. Man, at this juncture, man, it's just all about taking care of the books, bro. And figuring out a way to reload.
You know, it's going to be that worse. All these Tua haters are going to rear their ugly head when we got to pay the man. They're going to be like, we got to pay him. You know who I'm talking about, bro.
But think about it, though. You don't think –
Listen, no, reason to struck a nerve. Listen.
That might be – hey, man, that might be why Tua came out of that meeting talking about he didn't feel that, you know, they were, you know, jumping out, you know.
Well, that was with That was bro. People gotta like stop reading pieces of articles. If you read the whole article, they say that every single draft pick or like potential draft pick that went in there, player in the draft that went in, they said the same thing about like how cold, bro. I told you guys that's why the nickname for Flores all over right now is Stone Cold Brian Flores, because he was like that with every single player in the meeting. Like it wasn't just Tua. Every player, even Jonathan Taylor, came out saying J.K. Dobbins came out saying, well, I know they want a running back, but they weren't really like, you know what I mean? They weren't really embracing, opening their arms to me. He's like, all I know is they want a running back.
Maybe the mentality probably is to get a guy that has talent. Maybe with the first two picks, you're gonna get guys that whatever you'll pay them, but these other guys are getting interviewed, and I'm pretty sure they're just trying to see okay, we're gonna have a talented player, but later on down the line, is this guy gonna be willing to take a team friendly contract, bro?
Listen, if Tua is the Miami Dolphins quarterback and this kid go through 4 years of genius play, I don't care how good he is. If he's gonna be asking for 25% of the salary cap, oh yes, I'm gonna be the first one. Every single day he done lost his mind. All y'all talking about pay the guy, just shut up, please. Like, oh my gosh. I ain't gonna lie, that is a fear of mine.
Bro, he'll just be the gift that keeps on giving to your channel.
Great quarterback, and he wants 25% of the cap, and all these fanboys, pay the man, and then wonder why we suck for the next 12 years.
I cringe at 20%, so I don't know if I'm down for 25%, bro. Okay, so.
Hey man, he's gonna call Willie Beeman up.
18% to me is like the perfect number for right now where it is.
And if you in 16 to 18, but that's perfect in today's NFL, and that still makes your progression in the pay scale as a quarterback way superior than everybody else's. That still puts you there. But this 21, 22 Russell Wilson and 20, man, by the time Tua's up for his first real deal, it's going to be 25% the quarterback's making. 25%. And people are not going to get that because they're going to be stuck with, but the salary cap raising.
You know what I would do in that scenario, bro? I would sit down with Tua and be like, look, bro, you want to make all this money? Watch this video real quick about from when you got knocked out against Mississippi State. Do you want this to happen again? And he's going to be like, no. He's going to be like, okay, you want to stay with us? You got to take this money at a team-friendly discount, all right? And it's as simple as that, man. Unless you want to be like this, unless you want this to happen again, you need protection. We got to pay the linemen, man.
Well, you got to do? You got to hope, Esteban, that a bunch of these kids grew up idolizing or following Brady so they can basically follow the blueprint of the guy who basically said, you need to leave money on the table for them to now, albeit at times the Patriots didn't use all that money correctly, but he took team-friendly hits to give them flexibility to go out and get guys. And you got to hope that, like we talk about this, like me and EM, like I don't know your age, Esteban, but like, we grew up, like me and TD, we grew up Michael Jordan, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
those kids are now these kids with the Kobe death. You saw that the new generation was on Kobe, so we gotta hope the new generation is on Tom Brady, and that team first mentality, take a little bit of less money. Because dude, we're fans. If we're fans and we can recognize that, if you're a winner, you can go make a lot of money off your own personal brand. Off the green,
which
you should be doing anyways, because you're going to need money. You're going to need outlets for money after the sport. So
look, he can build his brand. Tua's already, in my opinion, he's got a brand already, man. So I don't see that being hard for him.
I heard someone say that they think he might be the most marketable quarterback that's coming around, and that's just because of how nice he is and how inviting he's very.
Okay, so if you bring that into the equation, then all right, bro. You want to play for Miami? Well, are you okay? You're gonna get contracts. You're gonna get paid. Once you get paid, are you gonna be chasing money? Or are you gonna be chasing legacy, bro? You want to be Tom Brady?
Exactly.
Or you want to be Dan Marino?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I love Dan, bro. Dan the man.
I want to piggyback.
That's a good
off
point. That's a good one right there.
I want to piggyback off of that because here's where I think the NFL is headed. And I want y'all to take this as serious as you can because it's something I want you're going to have to remember I said it because you're going to have to observe it over the years, okay? This is where the NFL is headed. Every year there'll be 4 to 5 young quarterbacks who are on a rookie deal making not big money. Even if it's 12, 13 million, that's not big money compared to what they can make. You're going to see 4 to 5 big name quarterbacks every year that's people are arguing about they're good, great, or elite, and that they can win a Super Bowl. And the sad thing is you're going to start seeing guys on their rookie contract winning Super Bowls more. Patrick Mahomes did it. Just like all those other guys that I mentioned to you all who did it, just like they did it. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers of the world, Flacco's, all of those guys, rookie deals. And the veteran quarterbacks who were even greater than some of them at their time are going to be the guys who getting in the playoffs, just like Aaron Rodgers done since his rookie deal, just like Russell Wilson done since his rookie deal. And they'll get to the first or second round, but it's going to start always being, shout out to 11:11 p.m. It's going to always be a young guy on a rookie deal with a loaded team around him. And mark my words when I say that. All these teams is built with the veteran quarterback. It's actually harder for them now. And think about the only veteran quarterback who's really won in the last 10 years.
Brady.
It's because he put himself in a rookie situation making just as much money, even though it's a little more, but the money in this situation with the quarterback situation is showing so many things if you really look at it. That's why Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, I'm always yelling, they got to do it now. They'll never have a roster this good again, taking that much money from the team. They got to do it now. So I want to ask you all, how do you all feel about that? Say that comes up to be true. Say over the next few years, you got kids like Kyler Murray that's starting to emerge even more on the scene. Then you got your Tua Tagovailoas, your Joe Burrows, all these young guys that came in this year, the year before, and next year, right? They start being the face, while those other guys like Mahomes, Deshaun, and all of them get their money. Now they're good too, but at the same token, they can't win anything. Now all of a sudden, five years from now, it's time to pay Tua big money, and maybe he's won a Super Bowl on his rookie deal. Is that enough for you to notice that it's a trend that's happening and you might want to consider getting off of that young guy? That you need to create a team where the quarterback can be interchangeable? Or do you just keep on going with the fan favorite guy that won on a rookie deal like the rest of these young guys in the league and then couldn't do anything ever since? What do you do if that presents itself?
Dude, that is better go the run game, bro. I mean, because the chances of just finding another quarterback are slim to none, man. You know what I mean? Because if you're in a position, if you're in that position, then you're not drafting high in the draft, bro. I mean, that your only option is to change your entire, identity of your team from a pass team to a run team, and then you just need an above average quarterback. You know what I mean? You get away from the elite quarterback status. I think that's the only option. I hope that doesn't happen.
My issue is here when you okay. So when you get to the Super Bowl, I don't think the above average quarterback hacks it anymore. And
he doesn't want the above average quarterback what?
Like when you get to the Super Bowl, I don't think the above average quarterback is hacking it anymore because usually, you're facing if you're the AFC team, you're usually facing a top 5, top 10 defense in the NFC and vice versa if you're the NFC, right? And I think that's why at the end of the day, the 49ers lost was because they didn't face an above average quarterback this year. He made plays when he had to in the fourth quarter. Like his fourth quarter, he basically was able, because of how good Mahomes is, he was able to basically play at the level we expected him to play at all game in just the fourth, and they won. And they beat a really, really
good. You got to think about it this way as well, though, man. Did the 49ers lose that game on talent, or did they lose that because they got out-coached, bro? And I think that it had something to do with being out-coached.
It wasn't, but it wasn't just out-coaching.
Yeah, but Garoppolo could have
made a lot of big mistakes, and that was your average quarterback with a great defense and a good running game, and he made a lot of bad throws.
I got to give it to the 49ers because they still played a good game, man. You know, I went back and watched it. I didn't watch, like, the first half because I was still pissed about Zach Thomas not making the Hall of Fame, but I went back and watched it, man, and the 49ers did good, man. I just feel, in my opinion, this was a Super Bowl where, I mean, Kansas City won, but I don't feel that they were world beaters, bro. And I feel that a team that would have been, if there was a team that was balanced, they could have beat them, bro. With an above average quarterback. I truly believe that, bro. I just wasn't. I'm not scared of Kansas City, bro. If we get some free agents, bro, and we get some legit rookies from the draft, I am not scared of Kansas City, bro. I'm sorry, but I'm not. They don't scare me at all, bro. I don't care if they won the Super Bowl. They didn't impress me. I'm just not, man. I'm just not scared of them. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I don't know why, but they do not scare me at all, bro. A team that scared me, bro, offensively was like the greatest show on turf, bro, like the Rams. Like that team scared the heck out of me. But Kansas City,
Hall of Fame receivers, like a Hall of Fame lineman, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and a Hall of Fame running back.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just seen moments where Mahomes looked like a man, bro. Like I mean, he just looked like a normal.
But what I'm saying is, and all it took was him to be that Mahomes that we come to expect for one quarter, and he beat a top 3 defense in the NFL, not just in that conference. And when you go back, I admit Shanahan had some bad play calling, but at the end of the day, Garoppolo missed that deep route where if he hit him in stride, we're not even having this conversation. And then when you look at his in the last 12 minutes of play or 13 minutes of play, dude, the guy was 3 for 11. It was terrible. The wheels fell off for Garoppolo too, in terms of when you take his first half and you put it up against his second half, dude, Garoppolo was not good, man. And that's what happened. You had an above average quarterback, couldn't get the job done in the second half. Whereas the elite quarterback got it done in just the fourth quarter, and that was enough.
I want to push back on that a little because I see what you're saying, Reason, that you think that the above average quarterback may not be able to get over the hump anymore. And that could very well be the case, but I don't want to use one game and one above average quarterback, because some would argue that he's average, to be that barometer, because we know a lot of above average quarterbacks that would have made some of those throws. You know what I mean? So but
when you look at an average guy like let's go Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, brother, it took historic defenses. We're talking defenses that are in the top 10 ever for him to win, and how often do those come around?
So I guess here's the point that I was making there, Reason. That's the thing. This is what I'm saying. This is what I want y'all to keep your eyes open out for. And this isn't a thing where next week we can get the answer. It's going to take time, but I want y'all to remember we had this conversation so that down the road, this is something that you might see happening, and you would have to make a decision that the traditional person wouldn't want to make. If you literally notice for the next 10 years that either only a guy on a rookie contract or a veteran with the pay cut wins the Super Bowl. If that happens, I mean, you literally see guys like Mahomes, Watson, and all the young good ones now still be good like Russell Wilson is now, but still never can get out of the first or second round. But you see these young guys with loaded teams winning Super Bowls. If that literally happens 10 years in a row, or the last thing where you got a veteran but they take a pay cut, Is that good enough evidence to say maybe you need to adjust the way that you're thinking as far as building a team? That's the question I'm asking. Do you try for the historic defense with the average quarterback and a good offense, above average quarterback? Because that's actually the only thing that's happened outside of a rookie, which I can't keep having, and then I have to hit on him if I do. That's gonna be hard as ever. Like,
Look,
what do
man,
you?
this is how I would address that, man, because it kind of seems like that narrative is almost coming from a mindset that it's more of an offensive. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, man. I mean, because I don't want to go down a road that I don't have to. So it seems like it's more off of a concern coming from you're seeing an offense that is high powered and winning the Super Bowl year after year, taking different teams, just different quarterback that's young, got talent and loaded, right? That's where you're coming from.
No, it's not even taking a high-powered offense. Of course, you're going to have some of these teams built with a high-powered offense with an elite rookie contract elite quarterback, but you're also going to just have some rookie quarterbacks that look elite because of everything around them too.
Right.
That's why a lot of these guys get on their next deal. Everybody isn't going to turn out like Russell Wilson after he gets his money and still can get the job done. Some of these guys are literally going to have declined play.
See, so what I think the whole narrative on this is going to change over the next 20 years. And the reason why I say that is because no one's going to have to put up with the Patriots dynasty for the next 20 years. So the way
are you saying a quarterback with a pay cut?
That's 9 Super Bowls from just the AFC side alone that we could have got different matchups on in the last 20 years. So what I'm saying is when you actually break that down, if he wasn't around, if Brady wasn't around, how many more guys, beyond their rookie contract would have possibly won a Super Bowl in terms of the quarterback position?
Let me ask you this, because I understand what you're saying in that regards with Brady and the dynasty. But my whole theory and what I'm talking about is basically spelling out there could be a lot more dynasties. Imagine Russell Wilson taking $20 million a year. Legion of Boom stays together, or they just get better with replacing them by being able to still afford better weapons. Imagine Russell Wilson getting paid $20 million a year and the Seahawks had another 20 at their dispense. Would the Seahawks be exiting in the second round?
With the Legion of Boom, when they had the Legion of Boom?
No, even right now, because we understand the Legion of Boom had to go because Russell Wilson had to get paid.
Yeah.
So what if Russell Wilson took $20 million a year? Do you think he would be a 2-time Super Bowl champ?
I think he would have been a 2-time Super Bowl champ if they would have handed the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
Well, do you think he possibly could have been a 3-time then if he was getting paid $20 million?
Yeah, I think if that Legion of Boom stuck together, they could have given the Patriots a run for their money in terms of dynasty of the last 10
the
years.
Legion of Boom with Russell Wilson against that Kansas City team this year, I know they could have beat Kansas City, bro.
So here's the point I'm trying to make. So when we say there'll never be another dynasty like that, there won't, because Russell Wilson's not taking 20. But who's to say the next dynasty is just a quarterback away from taking?
And that's what they've talked about. They talked about, I forget what I saw it on, but it was someone talking about how it was an analyst saying how it was a former quarterback, and he talked about how he's texting Mahomes, and Mahomes basically said to him that he realized what it takes to win, and by that he basically perceived it as this guy isn't going to go break the bank.
What did I tell you in the playoffs? What did I say, Reason? I said if Mahomes takes a pay cut,
he's gonna. You know why? Because everyone will tell you right now he's the best quarterback. The general consensus is right now he's the best quarterback in the NFL. If that guy goes out and sets the market at a lower number than expected, kudos to him, because he will help teams who want to win championships with quarterbacks. Like,
but that's not.
I don't
that's
think you're
not
gonna get
the,
a Dak. I don't think he's gonna be acting like how Dak is right now. And it might
No.
be because it might be because he kissed the trophy and Dak hasn't done that yet. So he realized that, maybe he, all it takes is winning to realize what it takes to win, right? So
Look, man, this is what I would see in that scenario. If the GM, Andy Reid, and Mahomes stick to that mentality, then what TD says is 100% true, bro. Because that's where it starts, man. Look at the Patriots. You got Kraft, you got the coaches freaking slipped my mind, Belichick, and then you got Brady, man.
same page.
I mean, it's the same thing that the Spurs did, man. R.C. Buford, Popovich, Duncan.
Yeah.
Every other year, hey, you don't want to win it? We'll go win the championship. We got 5 rings off of it, man.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to get an answer from you all from. If we could sit here and recognize, Russell Wilson, you take Aaron Rodgers, you take some of these guys and give them half their salary, their teams would be so much better, and some of these guys will have more rings. If that is the case, then it's almost like acknowledging it's not smart to pay these guys. Because I haven't found the quarterback yet. Think about the last 15, 20 years. We haven't found the quarterback yet who's gotten the big payday and won. And they were supposed to be at the top.
Man, you're gonna have to figure out how to win with, dude. You're gonna have to figure out how to pay everybody a minimal amount and still win.
I personally believe this is why I have the philosophy that I do. Build the trenches, have a great defense, have an above average quarterback with weapons around him, and you can win. It's been proven several times. Or you're getting to the Super Bowl at least. And my thing is, every time we see that, it never stays together. It never stays together. And I really do truly believe you keep that type of nucleus together, things can, man, you can literally keep winning or being at top. And that's why I want to build a team that way. That's why I get scared about these quote unquote elite quarterbacks. I really do feel that the more elite they are and the more they want their money, the more you're in trouble as an organization. That is it's almost like a cancer or a bad thing for your team to have an elite quarterback in today's NFL if they're going to take so much money when its time comes. And now you're stuck look at Matty Ice, Matt Ryan.
Man,
they're going to keep paying this guy every year, and they're not going to get over the mountaintop.
Yeah.
They got at least 4 or 5 more years to pay this guy, and they are not going to get over the mountaintop.
I mean, he should have a ring if it wasn't.
And who took it away? The one who taken less money.
Bad coaching took that one away. Okay, that was bad coaching in that game. Like that was shit. Shanahan was worse than that.
I don't know, man. I think that just plays back into what I had mentioned earlier, bro. I mean, if this is your turnaround year in this draft, man, and you're going to go after this quarterback, man, I really believe that you got to have that mindset that, is this guy chasing a legacy, man? Is he going to? Yeah, we're going to pay him. Of course, we're going to pay him, but to the extent to where we still can keep the team together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about overpaying to where it's going to be detrimental to the team where you can't still have a team. And I really believe that when Gase and what am I talking about? Greer and Flores are talking to these guys, I really hope that is something that they're looking into, man. Because you're looking down the road, man. I hope you're looking for a guy that's chasing a legacy, man. Because if you're chasing a guy that's chasing a legacy, well, then now you got something you can work with for the future, bro. Because I mean, if you look at the ingredients, bro, that's what Tom Brady had. Tim Duncan had it, man. I mean, that is definitely a key to that recipe, man. That's the alternative to what you're talking about, in my opinion. The alternative to having an above average quarterback and a balanced team would be to have not necessarily above average, but an elite quarterback that is chasing a legacy. I think that is what, if you're drafting a quarterback this high in this draft, if you can find a guy that is chasing a legacy, bro, that's your guy. That's, in my opinion, that's the guy that you draft, regardless if it's Tua, Love.
I'm just a history buff, and I'm just literally looking at the history of this league, and in its immediate history are giving us so many freaking signs, man.
But you know what the thing is? Like, you have
and nobody's following them.
Look at the context of Tom Brady, and let's say what Mahomes said is true in that he wants to, he wants to be team friendly in terms of his contract. What the correlation would be between those two guys is they won early. Yep. And they didn't get paid and then win, and then they're like, okay, well, I was already getting my money. We won. Holla at me. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson, he seems to be the outlier.
He won early, but he still took his money.
Outlier. I think Russell Wilson didn't realize. I don't think he truly realized what he had around him, man. I mean,
I honestly don't think he cared.
Oh man,
I don't think he cared.
I bet he cares now, bro. I bet he cares now, bro.
No, he did it twice though.
Man, brother, if you're a competitor, bro, one or twice ain't enough. And especially if your last time you lost on your turnover in the bro. If that doesn't eat away with you and doesn't make you want to get back there, bro, I gotta question how good of a competitor you are, bro. Because
man, I think
nightmares are made of, man.
Look, man, I think that with the right coach, you have, and if you have the players in position that when the rubber meets the road and you're facing adversity, man, that's usually when you find out where your legacy is going to come from, or if you even have a dynasty on your hand. Because look what happened with the Patriots. Bledsoe goes down, Brady comes in. Nobody even know who the heck. I mean, I knew who Brady was. I knew he was a backup at Michigan. You know what I mean? But I just feel that your coaching has to be on par, bro. Not just Flores. I'm talking about your coaching staff. Your identity for what you want to be, where you want to get your team to. You have to have that established, man. And you just have to put yourself in position to capitalize so that you can turn your franchise around, bro. And if that's the case, man, I feel that we're in a perfect position right now, man. We're setting it up, man. It falls back on us. If it doesn't work out, then you just know it falls back on us as an organization that we didn't do it right.
I believe it can and it will work out no matter who it is. I think it will. Again, mine ain't for the fact of it working out. It's after the fact of it working out, and then it's time to pay people. We got some soul searching to do at that point.
I mean, what I said, it's so simple, TD, bro. But like, how many teams are in a position to where they can look into the near future and they're gonna have the opportunity, bro? They're gonna be in position to just turn it around, bro. I mean, the Bengals can't say that, bro. I don't think the Lions can say that. Maybe the Redskins. I could see that they possibly have a future, but I mean, look at how many teams, bro. I mean, that can actually say, I'm legitimately going to turn this thing around and I'm going to create something new, something that you haven't seen, man, for an organization, bro. Like, I'm talking about like Golden State, bro. Golden State turned it around. Now you know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this, man?
I want actions. I want more than words.
Flo came from the Pats. He knows how important the QB position is. Listen, let me go ahead and ruffle some of y'all feathers, okay? Off of that comment about Flo came from the Pats, he knows how important the QB position is. Some will argue, and I'm going to continue to say this because there's a lot of people who feel the same way. Tom Brady ain't no elite quarterback. He's been allotted to be an elite quarterback because of everything that surrounded him. People act like the things around you don't also contribute to your greatness. There are quarterbacks who've made receivers great. There are receivers who've made quarterbacks great. There's running games that have made quarterbacks great. Like, come on, man. I know that Tom Brady is the GOAT, but I also know that he has had an entire career of being in a perfect situation. having time to throw the ball every season he has ever played, have always had receiver weapons that we always glorify Tom Brady's greatness by devaluing the receiver's greatness. I mean, look at who is it? What's his name again? Their number one receiver who was hurt last year, didn't have a great year.
AJ Green?
Edelman, yes.
Oh,
Edelman been putting the same freaking work in for
I just
years.
gotta say this, bro. Come on. The guy made us regret letting Wes Welker walk, bro. Like big time.
No. I get that, but Edelman, what he's been doing every single season has been the same thing.
He's won a Super Bowl MVP though. He won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yes, he's been reliable like that for Brady for a while. He ain't got to be no superstar. He ain't got to be no 10 out of 10, no 9 out of 10, no 8 out of 10. Edelman has always been a proud 7 who gets the job done.
Yeah,
and
I think Brady makes guys better around him, man. And the one time he had an elite receiver in Moss, at the time Moss set the reception TD record for a single season, and he set the single season passing TD record. So and that was the one time he had an elite guy. And man, I don't know. When you look at how he's elevated guys around him, like this was the first year, and I think it's just because of the age he's getting to right now. And the first year, man, where didn't elevate guys.
But the unfair part about what you're saying right now is that Brady elevated guys. It goes both ways. That year, Randy Moss elevated him. Passing record. Passing touchdown record. It goes both ways. Tom Brady and Randy Moss was a perfect fit together to bring the best out of both of each other. But we're not going to sit here and say Tom Brady was the reason he had what he had. That is Randy Moss. He was going to do what he does. But you add a Tom Brady in the picture, now they're both bringing the max out of each other. Tom Brady, I got a guy who I could throw it up now. It's a guarantee. I'm going to be elevated. Randy Moss, I got a guy who I'm going to catch the ball every single time, and I'm going to elevate my quarterback. Guaranteed. You see,
and I'm just saying he did it beyond. But my point was he did it beyond Moss, because I mean, like, look at us as a franchise. We just discarded Welker, like whatever, and look at what he turned into with Brady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we talk about Edelman. Edelman. Let's be honest. Would Edelman have won a Super Bowl MVP if he wasn't playing with Brady? Probably not, bro.
But you're right. You're right. But once again, let's make sure we go full circle here. Would Brady have all the Super Bowls he has without Gronk?
He won Super Bowls before Gronk.
Yeah, he won some before Gronk. But when Gronk was the guy there, would he have had as many Super Bowls without Gronk?
In my opinion, the perfect question that would be, would he have been Super Bowls without Belichick, bro?
If we're not going to sit here and say Gronk was worth at least one.
Gronk was definitely probably next to Moss the best player he ever threw to, man. But Gronk could do everything, right? Like Gronk was also a really good blocker too. Like Gronk just wasn't good out in open space, man. He could go up and win contested catches. So he could do that was basically an elite tight end that got put with him, man. That's why I didn't mention Gronk. I mentioned
in the first year Gronk is gone. The first year Gronk is gone, everything falls apart.
Well, I mean, they looked good when they had Antonio Brown for one game. You know what I mean? I don't think they honestly, and I personally, I credit more to Belichick, but I will still say that I don't think this year they did a great job of putting stuff around him at his age. This isn't a guy in his mid. We're talking about a 43-year-old quarterback. You're gonna need pieces around you, bro. And I don't think they really did. Like they drafted what's his face.
Dude, I can't believe we're saying this. If it was anybody else but the Patriots, bro, they were the second seed, right? Weren't they the second seed in the AFC? They
Yeah,
still had a good
but
year.
their defense in the first 8 games, it was because their defense got them out to that start. Because for the first 8 games, they had like literally a historic defense. But like, look at, they spent a high draft pick for the first time in however on a wide receiver, and he was hurt. You know what I mean? It's just like nothing went right offensively for them. And then once the defense kind of leveled out and got off that historic pace, you saw the cracks started to open and the leaks started to widen, right? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think going full circle back to the question that the guy posed about Brian Flores knowing quarterbacks. I don't think it's just one particular position, man. I just think that the mentality. He's got his own views. He's got his own disciplines. He's his own man. I think he got coached up the right way. He got brought into coaching the right way out of, Boston College, straight to New England. Been there ever since, man. He was, I believe, the longest tenured coach. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what order you put it in, but I mean, for what he brings, it wasn't just the quarterback, man. It was discipline, man. It was knowing that you have to play to the strength of your players, man. Yeah. And eventually it's going to be a system. We're going to have, it just depends on the year, man. Depends on what we have, whatever our strengths are. That's the way the Patriots do it, man. They start with discipline, bro. And then they look at their strengths and they play to their strengths, man. And they just do it better than everybody else, man. That's just
exactly
that's what Flores brings to us, man. It's not Belichick, man. He's his own guy, man.
Yeah, but I don't like last year. Belichick should have been able to have his team better prepared last year. He should, if he's the guy, then you shouldn't have had that type of offensive performance. I know he's a defensive guy, but he's supposed to be the coaching guru. And for those in the comment section talk about not true, TD, Tom Brady won before Gronk because he had Hernandez then.
No, they played together.
Yeah, they were put together too.
Yeah, but he won before Hernandez, man.
Huh?
He won before Hernandez too, right? Like,
and who did he have at that point?
Dude, what was his best receiver when they beat the greatest show on turf? What was Deion Branch?
Name him.
Deion Branch was his best receiver when he beat the greatest show on turf. He didn't have. That was like what? He didn't have her. That was like 2001. He didn't have any of these big weapons.
So if Deion Branch was the best receiver, what was the problem with the receivers this year?
What do you mean? We're 40. The guy's, you're acting like a 43-year-old doesn't have the same limitations as a guy in his early 20s.
So we're putting it on Brady, not his weapons now.
That's what I said earlier. I said the guy's 43. They didn't do a good enough job of putting stuff around him this year. And I said they wasted a high draft pick on a receiver, which they rarely ever do, and he ended up getting hurt. And then when they went out and got Antonio Brown, that whole debacle happened. And then their line started to fall apart near the end of the season. And I mean, I don't know what you want me to say to you.
Well, I just think it's obvious, man.
That's why this guy's leaving.
That's saying that since he's older, they didn't put enough around him. What is that?
I think they could not mask Tom Brady's decline. He's getting older, man. That's as simple as that. I really don't think it's that deep, man. I think that's all it was like.
Can y'all give me some plain characteristics of how he's getting older? He didn't do this the same. He didn't look good doing that the same. Can y'all help me understand where this is coming from?
You saw him getting frustrated because they were bringing Tom, Dick, and Harry from Walmart to go play on a Monday night, and guys were running wrong. You saw the frustration. Guys were running the wrong route, et cetera. Well, if you know the Patriots' whole offense is timing, brother. It's all, you're supposed to be here at that time. So like that's why they all train together in the sand and they do all those crazy offset. Edelman's talked about it too. They're all about timing and where guys are supposed to be at a certain time after the ball snaps. And when you got Tom, Dick, and Harry from Lowe's and Publix and Walmart coming off the street, you're going to have problems with that. And then, like I said, if you look at their offensive line in the latter half of the season, the protection started becoming a problem. And then when you add on top of that, dude, for the first 8 games, we can all agree it was pretty much a historic defense, but then they started leveling out. So then you weren't getting that historic production from the defense. All of a sudden, they weren't going out there and hammering teams. And like I said, the cracks started to show and the leak started to widen, and it was over by the end of it, man.
I still haven't heard, what does that have to do with Tom Brady's age? That's my whole point here. He did. If it had nothing to do with his age, he was still the same. To me, the same Tom Brady. I just think that it shows that he needs weapons for him to be great.
It just didn't look like he had it, man.
It didn't matter if he was 20. It didn't matter if he was 30. He still needs weapons to help him be great. This is the whole point that I'm making. All those reasons you said was 100% correct. You were spot on. That's what happened to the Patriots this year. But none of that had to do with Tom Brady's age. Everybody, those who bring up Tom Brady's age, what happened this year had nothing to do with his age. It ain't like he was throwing the ball 5 yards shorter on his hardest try because his age. It ain't like his footwork and he was moving slower because of his age. He was just getting frustrated because nobody would get open. And that's what a lot of these quarterbacks in this league go through since day one, and we write them off as bums. We say that they're bums. Tom Brady with a historic defense couldn't even get it done because he didn't have weapons around him. So that's the point that I keep trying to make, is that Tom Brady, in some cases, imagine his whole career not having those weapons. Imagine his entire career, his offense was this offense. Would Tom Brady be the GOAT today? His entire career, if his offense was this offense that he had this year, would he be the GOAT?
No.
He wouldn't even be close to being it.
This offense this year that they had, man, it just didn't look like he had it. I mean, it just –
they didn't even have a running game.
Dude, when he was successful, you just look at the guy and you see the plays that he's making, and he just looks like he has it. He has it going, man. Man. He just didn't look like he had it this year. Not with these guys, not at all, man. I do feel the same way that Reason was mentioning that, timing and everything was off. I mean, it just didn't look good for whatever reason. His productivity just wasn't there.
It wasn't, but a lot of that had to do. I mean, I saw this man throwing the balls on the number and literally dropped.
Guys dropping.
I saw an offensive line that didn't play consistent this year at all. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, I don't care. People can argue with me all they want. Tom Brady, his entire career has been a product of what's been around him. They've been able to build such a great team around him that it's almost impossible for a guy who can accurately throw the ball to look like he has flaws.
I still feel this is
why Matt Castle, when Tom Brady tore his ACL or whatever he did, because I drafted him on fantasy football and he ruined my season, when he went out for the season, this is why Matt Castle comes in and goes 11 for 5 and looked great doing it. Looked great. Y'all saw Matt Castle that year slinging.
Buddy, even Jacoby Brissett looked good. Garoppolo looked good when they went in there.
And that wasn't.
What did I say earlier? Buddy, what did I say earlier? I say I give more credit to Bill Belichick, so I'm not disagreeing with you.
Man, I still give Brady the credit because he
I still think as a coach
because of his salary.
But I still think as a coach and basically the head of football operations, I still think Belichick should have done, I think they should have got like an Emmanuel Sanders. I think they should have beat the 49ers. I don't think they should have gone and got Mohamed Sanu. That's not what they needed. You know what I mean? I think they should have went, and I think Emmanuel Sanders would have been just as good of a fit for them as he was in San Francisco. And that would have helped open up the field a little bit for Brady. But, I mean, it's the Patriots. It's a moot point. It's over and done with. We'll see. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he wants to leave is because he felt that they didn't put enough around him, right? So
they did seem like that team that could just beat a team that they shouldn't be able to beat, like Kansas City. For some reason, they just couldn't get there, man. They met their match against Tennessee, bro. And the reason that happened was because Vrabel, right? he beat him at his own game, man. Just run the clock out. I mean, it was all about the clock, man. So I mean, that's a part of Belichick's coaching and the way he wins games that he's done for a long time, man. I just don't see how people don't see that, man. But they really watch that clock from the time the game starts, man. They're figuring out how to close it out, man. That's what they do.
I also see they're coached the right way. You're right. But I also think that Belichick feels like he has the better team than you in every game because he has more 7 and 8s than you on his roster. He knows that almost every player suited up on that roster is a 7 and 8. And literally, you can have 6, 9s, and 10s, but you got a whole bunch of 4s and 5s and 6s that our 7 and 8s are going to abuse today, and we're going to take advantage of that. And I really do think that's their philosophy. Is that simple? Fill the roster with 7 and 8s. We're not spending max dollars, and then when we got so much money left over at the end of the year, we're going to take impact positions like the cornerback, the defensive tackle, or this and that, and pay them an extra premium and have those rocks. That's what they do. When they spend less than $25 million on the O-line and less than $20 million on the D-line, they're the least spending team in the whole league in the last 8 years at the same position. You think that's a coincidence? The least amount of spending on the trenches in the whole NFL. Because they don't care about the big name. And if you are a big name, you're on a rookie contract, and we're going to let you walk when it's time to renew.
Look what they did with Nate Solder, right? How good he was there. And then they let him walk, and boop. And he went to the Giants, got the big money, and not the same guy. You know what I mean? That's why I want Tooney, but at the same time, I'm like, I've seen this too many times where guys leave that offensive line in New England. But I mean, Flores, similar system. So, but I would be more uncomfortable if I was another team and I didn't have Flores at the helm and we were going to pay one of those guys a lot of money. You know what I mean? I like the familiarity. So I know if Flores is okay spending big money in Tooney, it's because he knows he's the right fit. If you see Tooney not get a big money offer from us, that's got to make you sit back and look and be like, maybe Flores saw something that this guy wouldn't be a good fit outside of that system. And I agree with you 110%. I think when you talk about, not only do you see their system trying to be copycatted, you see so many players come out of that system. Like I've talked about it before. What's his face who went to Cleveland, the linebacker. I brought him up before. He went to linebacker and he just came back this year and he had totally revitalized his career. I can't believe his name is slipping my mind. What's his name? The linebacker for not
who?
He went to Cleveland. He got paid. He left New England, got paid by Cleveland, busted out, came back, and basically revitalized. Yeah, Collins. Like, there's a perfect example of a guy, Jamie Collins, right? He was amazing when he was there, got paid by Cleveland, busted out, came back, and he rejuvenated his career already, man. Like, it's true. Like, they're the perfect team. If you want to use system guys, if you want to use an example for guys made for a system, that's your perfect team. That's a team in the NFL where you see so many guys come out of that system. Coaches and players that bust out. So, that's why I give Belichick all the credit in the world, because somehow they can bust out when they go other places, but when they come there, it all works.
Well, again, because if you come there, you're going to have a roster full of compliments. That's going to make life easier for you. That's my take on it. Like EM says, we'll see how successful that approach is when Brady leaves. Bro, this is the thing. If Brady leaves and they still have success, people are going to more so say it's Belichick. But again, it's just the fact they're automatically going to have an advantage because the roster's full of 7s and 8s. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
But what about before Brady? Were they winning before Brady?
I mean, they went to the Super Bowl in the 90s with Bledsoe.
System.
I think Belichick was an assistant at the time, though, right?
Yeah, but that was still the same time where all the debacle was going, where he was supposed to be.
I don't think was he there?
I don't know, man. I think we're starting to see.
Where did he go?
I think he wasn't at the Giants at that time, because that was like what, 95 or 96, where they went to the Super Bowl with Bledsoe. I think.
Man,
I think he was with the he's either with I think he might have been with the Jets or the Giants.
I think you're going to finally start seeing that
whoever Parcells was. So he might have been there.
This coaching tree, Belichick's coaching tree.
Parcells said he was going to quit, but then he didn't, and Belichick left. And
but that was at the Jets. That was at the Jets.
Yeah,
that was at the Jets where Parcells said, "I'm going to leave, and you can have the team." And then he took the job for the Jets, and he left like after a day, and he went to New England.
To New England, yeah.
Man, a lot of things are going to be revealed, man, over the next few years, man. I just hope that the whole league isn't being finessed and bamboozled by a team like the Patriots, who say as long as everybody keep thinking it's because of this, we'll keep winning. They think that we have to win every year. No, we just got to win one every 3 years or be in contention. That's how it works, man. That's how it works. They're playing a game on people, and a lot of people don't see what they're doing. And Brady tells you, Flores has told you, Belichick has told you, but everybody can care less about the words that come out of their mouth of why. Brady said the most revealing thing that if you're a football enthusiast, you should be paying attention to. I enjoy the competitive advantage of having a better team surround me. The competitive advantage, like how much more clearer can you be? That is as clear as it can be. I enjoy the competitive advantage of having better talent around me. It's no secret. If you take less money as a quarterback, you're going to have better talent surround you. And what do all the quarterbacks that take a lot of money keep fighting for? Man, I'm just waiting on them to get better talent around me. I'm just waiting on them to get better talent around me. That's all they complain about. This team has a good quarterback, but they need a better running game. This team has a great quarterback, but they need receivers to throw to. This team has a good quarterback, but they can't protect them for nothing. There's a reason for that. Name to me a team where somebody getting paid and they can do all of that. Nobody can. That's the formula. The formula's right in front of us, and everybody's still chasing the shiny thing. And the Patriots over there like, go ahead, let them keep chasing them diamonds. We're going to stick with these good old hard, this metal and keep winning.
What percentage of the cap was Manning taking up when they won with Denver?
Manning in Denver. Let me take a look at it. What year was that? Do you remember?
Well, they lost one and they won one, right?
Let me see. Was it Super Bowl 50? Peyton Manning, he won Super Bowl 50. What year was that, though? Somebody, the comment section usually will tell us quicker than I would. Let me see here.
Was it 2015, 2016?
January of 2016. NFL salary cap 2015-2016 season. 2016 starts a new season for August, so it'll be 2015.
Yeah, it's a 2015-2016 season, I think.
I'll pull it up now. Technically, guys, it's the 2015 season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2015-2016.
All right, Peyton Manning in 2015, he made a salary of $15 million. So 15 million of 144 million is about 11% of the salary cap. 10% would have been 15 million. Well, 14 million, but he made 15 million. So he was making 11% of the salary cap. Do you see the difference between these guys making double that now, 20%? He was making 11% of the
I don't even think Von Miller had been paid yet by that win. I don't think Von Miller had been paid yet.
I think it's just obvious, man. You just got to learn how to work. You know, you got to know how to watch your books, man, and make sure that you're looking down the road. Combine that with scouting and coaching, man. It's a combined effort, man. I think that Flores is gonna, and Greer and all them are heading in that direction. I hope they are. It seems to me that they are. I think that coaching tree is starting to have success, man. You know, Belichick's coaching tree. So as much as flack as they get, I think it starts with Flores, man.
Somebody said how much was Brady making? Peanuts as well, just so you know. Brady was making a lower amount as well. Yeah, let's see. Man, we already done hit midnight, man. Wow.
See, I think a lot of people would, even if you cringe at the price, it would be a lot easier to swallow 19 or 20% on a Mahomes than it would on a Dak Prescott. I think we can all also agree too. That's where we're getting ridiculous, where you got guys who, there's 32 quarterback. There's 30, where guys who are in that 10 to 15 range want top 5 money. That's when you start getting into this issue of when you got guys that are outside of the top 10, even if you would have them ranked as the 11th or 12th guys, and they want to set the market. That's when you have an issue with this, man.
Man, I get why you're bringing it up, TD, man. It's definitely something that I'd worry about, man.
It's something that you have to think about because it's about how you want to build your team and keep up to be competitive in the NFL. If you're not even thinking like this, you could automatically, if you're not even thinking about this, you could automatically fall behind by 10 years, your franchise in the hole. And I think that's what's been happening to all these franchises who haven't won in 20, 30, 40 years. They're not keeping up with the trend of the league and what's happening from a holistic standpoint in this game. And if you're not keeping up with it, you're the teams that's falling into this purgatory of just not winning for years and years and years. And then you keep going in the draft trying to find a new shiny object, and you're still not winning for years and years. And then the biggest slap in the face is even if you do find the right shiny object, and when they get off their rookie contract, you might go right back to losing for years and years. That's going to be the biggest slap in the face. The biggest slap in the face would be us having 2 to 3 years of success, and then we pay a quarterback buku dollars and we never do it again. That's the biggest slap that can happen in the face. And I'm just telling y'all, keep your eyes open for what I'm telling y'all right now, because this is a trend that's right in front of everybody, and people are like, yeah, but whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. And the funny thing is, Finsanity sent this to me the other day. Shannon Sharp finally on TV echoing these same sentiments. He brought it up. He said, this is what's happening. He told Skip, this is what's happening in the league. These guys, the only chance to win, it seems like now, is on your rookie deal. Once you get that money, you ain't going to ever have a better team around you. So he even said it is something to look out for. And she sent it to me because that's what I've been talking about forever. But we still want to build our team based off of a trap that could possibly be imminent right there in front of your face. It could be a trap. So
can I just say though too, if you pay a quarterback, if you actually continue to draft well and your turnover is strategic, smart, and well done through drafting, you should be able to extend windows. Like if you saw you can see what they're kind of already starting to do in Seattle, right? You can already tell that, they got DK Metcalf, he slipped and they got him, and you can already tell that they're starting to shift the narrative in terms of the wide receiver core there right now.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that situation is going to get even worse, though, because Russell Wilson signed the deal last year, but his money don't kick in until this year.
Yeah.
That new money to see how does it impact. So even if they're shifting and they're keeping ahead, the problem is they're supplementing it by digging the hole anyway with the salary of one guy. And somebody just wrote, and I think it was they just wrote, "We got to get there first, TD." That's what you're missing. You can get there and say, "All right, we're in the playoffs now. Let's figure this out." And then it turns out to be true. Then you should have never got there the way you did in the first place. I'm thinking next level ahead. Because the crazy thing is, say I'm right. Say 5 years from now, we look up and say TD called it this way, and it's turned out to be that way. This is why teams would have had a chance to get ahead of it now. They should have known this 3-4 years ago, because Tannehill, RG3, and all of them should have taught us this. Man, but now we got the new wave of guys teaching it to us again, and it's never enough. It's never enough for us to notice this is what's happening in this league.
Well, let me ask you a question, man. Would you be willing to, I guess, every 3 drafts take a quarterback, maybe at least in the second round?
Nope. I don't want to do that.
Not even the second round, third round?
I want to see. Let me put it like this. I want to build a solid team, 7s of 8s on defense, offense. Man, we are loaded. And I want to drop my quarterback on top like a cherry on top. And guess what kind of quarterback that can be? Someone slightly better than a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Someone better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, but they ain't got to be Brady.
That's the only way to go, man.
What's that?
That's the only way to go.
And you can literally lock a guy up like that 5 years and pay him less than $20 million per year. Because if the team is elite around him and the defense is elite and is giving you more possessions, a guy just like Ryan Fitzpatrick can get it done. Literally, that's how I feel. And then you don't have to worry about then you're building a dynasty.
I think you're gonna win maybe one like that. I don't think you're gonna win multiple like that.
Why not?
Because we talk about Seattle and the Legion of Boom, but we gotta also recognize
we win twice.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson isn't an above average quarterback. Marshawn Lynch wasn't an above average running back.
And I agree, but that's why they're getting the money that they're getting.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is once that happens, now, so by your theory, after they got to get paid, we get rid of them. We keep paying the Legion of Boom in our defense.
Get rid of them.
Okay, but then now what are you gonna do? Because you gotta pay them.
I'm not looking for the Russell Wilson off top.
Yeah, but what I've said earlier, like if you go, let's go back and look at the list of quarterbacks who have won in the last 20 years. Okay, you're gonna have. Contrary to what you say, I believe Brady is elite. So that's 6 right there. Roethlisberger's 1. At the time he won was elite. Okay, Manning's 1. That's an elite quarterback. When you got Eli Manning, when he won those 2 years, when Eli Manning in the 8-8 season, he had an elite run in the playoffs. If there's 2 4-year spans where you look at Manning's play where he was a good quarterback, not above average. He was a good quarterback. I'm not going to say elite, but on that run where they were 8-8 and they stuck into the playoffs, his run on there was elite because I don't think he threw a pick that whole playoff run, and he threw like 11 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns. So he had they got elite quarterback play to go to finally win. So what I'm sitting here and saying is, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, historic defenses. Joe Flacco, where do we want to again, above average quarterback, but on that run, I believe he threw 13 touchdowns and no picks. He had an elite run in the playoffs with a historic defense. So he was playing at a good quarterback level, not an above average quarterback level. And then so we got where we're at right now. You know, the elite quarterbacks that have won have already outnumbered.
You're missing you're naming elite quarterbacks. Reason you're right in that regards, but you're missing the most important part of all of that. The money. Everybody you named, if they were either on a rookie deal or they were a veteran making less than 14% of the salary cap. Every single one of them. Reason. Every single one of them, bro.
I'm just making the point. At the end of the day, it has been elite guys. So when you got
no, it's not been an elite guy.
The majority have been elite
out of those parameters, though.
The last 20 years, but we're not. I'm talking about elite quarterback play. I'm talking about the actual position. When you go the last 20 years, the majority has been elite quarterback play has won, other than the few outlying historic defenses. And I mean, you could call Nick Foles above average, but the amount of pieces the guy had around him was absolutely disgusting. And they actually had to win a shootout, and they had to beat Brady, who threw over 500 yards and set the single game playoff game passing record to beat him. Oh, agreed. But because they were just so disgustingly stacked, man. I mean, Jay Ajayi they went out and got him from it, and that's literally all they needed to win it.
I'm not debating that. My thing is, again, I personally believe we're calling these guys of having elite play when they had greatness around them. See, we continue to glance over the one point that I continue to make. When they were elite, they were on some of their best rosters ever. When we said that they played elite football that year, they had some of they had some of their best rosters they had in their entire career surrounding them. That's all. That's the only point that I'm trying to make here. Almost every single person that you just named out of those 8 quarterbacks were either on a rookie deal making or a veteran making less than 14% of the salary cap with the best team they've ever played with around them. And then when they got their money and all that stuff wasn't around them, we can't name a quarterback. We can't name any quarterback that gets outside of that parameter, made more than 15% of the salary cap, or wasn't on a rookie deal in the last 20 years. That's what we need to pay attention to. We can't name one.
Like I said earlier, that narrative's going to change because the Patriots. That narrative's going to change because you're going to now see guys win on bigger contracts because of a simple thing. They don't want to put up with the Patriots. That's going to change. It's going to change. Trust
guys aren't going to win Super Bowls on bigger contracts. Because
you're going to see it happen more often than you see it happen because
never happened.
Super Bowl 9 of the last. Yeah, but that's because, dude, the AFC for half of those 20 years has been a write-off.
Because of Brady?
Yes.
Bro.
And now that he's gone, it's all wide open. Let's get more wide open than it's ever been.
Let's get something straight here. If Brady didn't win most of those Super Bowls, it was going to be a guy on a rookie contract anyway that won.
Manning would have won a ton of times after he was paid by the Colts.
But how much money was he making at the time in comparison to
after
the salary?
He was paid. I'm just telling you, after he got his money, he would have won.
Bro, he didn't go to any on that money.
I'm saying if you take Brady out of the equation, you just asked. And I just told you, if you would have taken Brady out of the equation, a guy like Manning, after he would have been off his rookie contract, would have probably went to multiple Super Bowls, man.
Yeah, but it's hard to.
Roethlisberger would have went to more Super Bowls after he got paid.
It's hard to use Manning and those guys because back then the quarterback salary wasn't outrageous to the cap.
But that's the nature of what I said earlier about you got guys who are outside the top 10 that want to come in and reset the market like they're the number one quarterback. Dude, you got a guy who's 8-8 last year wants to go out and reset the market, bro. Are you kidding me? That's your problem. That's your problem. So I don't blame it as much on the elite guys as I do on the other guys who are overvaluing themselves, man. And then
I'm not blaming any player. I'm not blaming any player.
And I hate to use this word again. And then we got the jabronis overvaluing themselves. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the elite guys in the top 5, human nature, they're going to say, yo, if this guy's 8-8 and he just reset the market, and I just went to the Super Bowl or went to the AFC Championship or went to the divisional round, what do I deserve?
Like, I agree. I agree. They deserve every bit of being paid the highest paid. If Dak gets 40, then Mahomes should get 50.
And then you got Romo, and then they go hand out Romo $18 million to be a commentator. So now you got quarterbacks who are playing in the league. This guy's calling me, and he's making $18 million. What do I deserve?
True.
Like, you got all these factors coming in, and it's like it's just not stopping, man. It's just,
as a general manager, when does the buck stop for you?
When does the buck stop for the NFL? And someone steps in and say, "Yo, we got to start controlling how this money is going because the cap's going to have to be at $300 million in 5 years because you got guys who are going to be wanting $45 million to play quarterback." Like, it's ridiculous, man.
But if the cap is $300 million, you're gonna have guys trying to ask for 60.
I was just making an example. I wasn't like being.
Well, literal. I mean, it ain't far fetched. Reason more money's coming, and it's gonna keep coming. It's not far fetched, but man, this is interesting, man, because these are things that you really got to think about because we can be faced with this situation in about 4 to 5 years potentially.
It's almost impossible, bro. It's almost impossible to have a contract like that and still win with your team because of the fact that there's so many positions on the field.
You gotta hope, Esteban?
You got wide receivers.
You gotta hope that every other team does that too, so it's an even playing field.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta hope, that all these other quarterbacks get ridiculous contracts and hinder themselves, so it's an even playing field for everyone.
So what you get, man, when that happens, when it's more than one team, is you get mismatches, bro. Every team is going to be able to exploit mismatches, man, because everybody's going to try to mask all their flawed areas because this big contract that they paid the quarterback, bro. Yeah. You just in football, bro. I mean, in basketball, I can understand the big contracts because there's only 5 people on the field. Bro.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Aaron Rodgers be as great as he is, according to everyone. Does this guy get a pass?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say this earlier. I honestly think the Aaron Rodgers from McCarthy to free agency to how they've drafted and built that defense after the Super Bowl, I think that's more than just Rodgers, that situation.
Of course, but it is Aaron Rodgers who's supposed to be one of the most elite talents in the NFL.
Oh, and I think there's quarterbacks that like Valdez Scanting. Last year, no one would have known who he was. This guy from Lowe's, and Rodgers put him on the map. I think he has that, but I think we talk about this. Marino's a perfect example, brother. You can only do so much. There's another side to the ball. There's another side to the ball. You can throw who we were talking about earlier. We're talking about Brady. Brother, we can throw it to your chest. We can't catch it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's a deeper situation. That goes into McCarthy. That goes into how that team was ran after. Like, their only Super Bowl, they had a top 10 defense. So, I don't know why they didn't continue to keep that formula, and that's just a whole different situation. That's because I'm a Rodgers fan, so I follow that.
I think there's a lot of finger pointing in that situation, bro.
Yeah,
the coach is blaming the quarterback. The quarterback's blaming the coach.
I realize what's going on over there because you got Aaron Rodgers who has actually missed the playoffs for some years, and now they finally coming back to a playoff situation. And I don't know what his contract is like, but he did make the playoffs. When is he up for another contract? Did anybody know?
No, but I know he doesn't have a math. I don't think he has a massive cap hit right now, does he?
No, he's not. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head.
He's in the 20s, isn't he? He's in the 20s, isn't he?
I know that it's not more than like 14%. It's actually a minuscule number. And because I credited a lot of the reason why they actually even went to the playoffs last year is because of his cap hit. They were able to do a little bit more on that team.
Mm-hmm.
to put around him and the rest of those guys on that roster. But man,
yeah, you can tell last year, like with LaFleur, like you can tell their defense was getting better. Like they did have a better defense last year. I'll give them that much. But I don't know, man. I think if you want to know honest to truth, I think he needs to change the scenery, bro. I think after that whole McCarthy debacle, I think you kind of needed to I don't want to use the word blow the whole thing up, but I think you had to retool. And I think, because from what we understand, what the media knows, the owner called him directly and basically said, "Hey, don't screw this up with LaFleur." So, if you got to call your franchise quarterback and say that, maybe it's time for a scenery change, right? So,
yeah,
man. So I get it. Why you're concerned about it, because now I'm concerned about it. If that happens, man, I just hope that we have depth, because we're gonna have to let some guys go, man.
well, that's in 5 years. That's in 5 years, brother. An asteroid.
Yeah, it's in 5 years.
When it
Hopefully
does
the
happen,
parameters of this league
we might have to let go of players that that we want to keep on the team, bro. I mean, that's really what we're gonna be facing, man. There's no other, there's no alternative. You got to let somebody go, and you better have somebody down in the pipeline that's gonna be able to fill those shoes. So that's why you got to create depth, bro. Starts in the draft.
We have to make smart decisions at the end of the day. Aaron Rodgers, man, I think he's actually on a pretty big deal. 4-year, $134 million. Oh my gosh. Is this correct?
Yeah, but probably front loaded, right?
Aaron Rodgers is.
I saw someone in the chat said he only counted for 10.8% of their cap this year.
No, man. His cap hit last year was I see what they're talking about, but no, based off of what I'm showing, no, Aaron Rodgers had a cap hit of almost $30 million.
Oh wow.
But I think it's here's the issue. It was a restructured deal, so they might be right. He might have, he restructured the contract last year.
Okay.
So even though it reads as a $29 million cap hit, that was only because of the restructure. He actually only made $1 million last year for a base salary. And then signing his restructure, he made almost $12 million. And then they gave him a roster bonus of $13 million. See, these are bonuses and signing contracts, so don't look at the cap really for all of it. Workout bonus, a restructure. They gave him $3 million just to restructure. So his base salary was only $1 million, but according to them, the cap hit was $29 million. Everything. They front loaded it. No, they didn't front load it. They just, oh my gosh. In 2022, he's gonna be making $40 million.
Wow.
In 2022, he'll be making $40 million.
What's the dead cap?
17. So they can get out of it if they want to eat 17.
Wow.
Oof. This man will be making $39,852,000, so $40 million in 2022 with a dead cap of $17 million. So even if they wanted to move on, he's walking out the door with a $17 million check.
Oh,
and probably going somewhere else to sign for 30. Oh my gosh, these contracts. Next year he'll be making $36 million. This year, he'll be making $21 million, ladies and gentlemen. So they might even have another opportunity to have a good season. He's making 10%. He'll be making 10.5% of the salary cap.
And it's all a measuring contest, right? Because all these guys, they're not going to spend this money. And it's like, especially when you get into your mid-30s, I feel like winning should become even more important, but I mean, I guess that's just me, because you're not in your 20s, you don't have that long left in your career, like especially for guys who have only won one or none. You know, like a guy like Rodgers, man. If he added, that's the thing. If Rodgers finished with 4 Super Bowls, people would probably call him the GOAT.
You're gonna have to start questioning this guy. What he's chasing, man? I mean, is he chasing a legacy, or I mean, why is he only getting one wide receiver a year? You know what I mean?
Listen. Rodgers' contract basically makes him pay $34 million per year. That's the average on it. $1 million under Russell Wilson. And once again, just like Russell Wilson's contract, Russell Wilson's contract picks up this year. His picks up this year too. It's just that it's not bad this year. It's the next 2 years is atrocious.
Why? How much?
36 and 30 and 40. 36 and then 40.
Bro, I'm glad we ain't them. That's a bad spot to be in, man.
Well, they got a lot of young guys on the roster, so they probably feel like they can absorb it this year. But those young guys got to play at a veteran level and get it done if they want to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying it can't be done. We just haven't witnessed it.
So this is what I would do, okay? If we got a guy in the top 10 with 4 years and the 5th round option in the first round, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna re-sign you to a 4 or 5 year 5-year contract, okay? And I'm gonna backload those 2 years because those 2 years, by the time that hit is that high, is probably reasonable for where the market's gonna be at, as opposed to those first 3 years where I'll probably be overpaying you, and I can extend that 5-year window to 8 years, and in those last 2 years, that's usually where you have the outs in the contracts too. In terms of dead cap is usually a lot less. So that's personally what I'd be doing.
So basically, some kind of restructuring at the end of the last 2 years.
Remember the balance beam on that though. Reason when you load up when you give them most of the money early, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm back. I'm year 4 and 5 is where he's going to see that the higher cap hit, because that's where I feel like, 8 years down the line, that cap hit will be more reasonable in 9 and 10 than if that 9-10 year cap hit was in 6, 7, and 8. You know what I mean?
But do you stick yourself into a contract if it don't work out? And what I mean by that is, if you sign a guy on a deal like that and you backload it, now you're basically saying you can't get out from under it in 2 to 3 years.
Well, the whole reason I'm backloading it is because we've had a first successful 5-year window, and I want to extend that.
Got it. You want to maximize an era.
I want to get 8. That my idea is to get 8 years out of that. So I get that 5-year rookie contract, then I get 3 years, and then years 9 and 10 I can reevaluate whether, because usually 9 and 10 are when you got that dead cap, so you can get out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
you're the first person to actually give me a logical potential solution to my fears.
Because you can have in an 8-year window, you can have a dynasty.
Yes, and that's why I don't mind that. If I know that I'm going to be hot for 8 years and then I want to go ahead and redo some things at quarterback, I'm good with that, because you're basically forcing him to be locked in for at least 8, and you may only have to pay 1 more year of just, hey, this is the cost of having 8 great years. Mm-hmm. We got 2 Super Bowls out of those 8 years. This is the cost. I'm fine with that, as long as we're moving on, though, and not thinking that paying that high salary, we could still do it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. I just think that we're going to have to start thinking about it, because we're going to have to come up with a solution that nobody's caring about. Everybody's saying with their team, we'll worry about that when we get there. I've been telling people, Cowboys fans, for 3 years now, what's going to happen when this happens? Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll worry about it when it gets here. Now it's a mess over there.
Now they're there.
No, you don't wait. You don't wait.
I lived in Dallas. I lived in Dallas for 12 years, and when this whole situation went down 3 years ago, I warned them all. This is what y'all about to face with this Dak Ezekiel situation, and all those offensive linemen. Oh, we'll worry about that when we get there. And first of all, they didn't even win. Second off, now they're pulling their hair out trying to figure out what they need to do. And because whatever they do, it doesn't make them better. It's just satisfied being able to keep certain people with an already 8-18.
Can you honestly say that you think that they still are in contention to win a Super Bowl at this point? I mean, I
This is
really
the,
don't think that.
this is,
I think
this is
they're.
the last year of their window.
Yeah, I
This is
think
the
their
very
window's
last
closed.
year.
I think it's actually closed now when you're taking away guys like Byron Jones. I think that's starting. I think it's starting to close now.
If they, yeah, it's closed because even if they tag Dak, that's a $33 million.
And then TD,
That's somebody.
Amari, they might lose Amari too. If you
Yeah,
lose Amari
they
and
might lose Amari,
Byron
and
Jones,
not to mention their offensive line is so strung out right now. They literally got like 3 of their guys on 7-year deals.
yeah.
I just wanted to see if y'all were where I was at because I have to talk a lot of Cowboy football, and there's a guy that I talk to about his team very often, man, and I felt that I told him all year I was like, this is y'all got to do it this year, you know. So
Man, I think the reason might be right. Their windows probably might be closed. Now they're good enough to have a great coach that can take them to the playoffs, but again, when the rubber meets the road, I don't know, man. I'm still just waiting on that one team.
We all really think they would even stand a chance against the 49ers. Like, I think that defense would destroy them. You know what I mean? I don't like it, man.
Again, that's also going to be predicated on how well San Francisco quarterback plays, and what I mean by that is he turning the ball over?
Yeah, and I also think
you can't afford to do that. It cancels out great defense when you turn the ball over on offense.
And I also think Wentz is better than Dak. And if he stays healthy, I think I mean, I'll just say this. You remember that MVP form he had before he got hurt when the year they went to the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that from Dak yet. That's all I'm going to say. I haven't seen that level that Winston was rolling at. I haven't seen that from Dak yet. And I still think they probably would have won the Super Bowl if Wentz wouldn't have got hurt because I think he would have been league MVP that year too. So I haven't seen that from Dak, and that's why I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl because I don't need to see that from Garoppolo because that defense is so disgusting. That front four is absolutely anyone's dream of a front four. So I don't think they stand a chance against the big boys in the NFC, man.
Man, I already know that because when I was in Dallas and I lived in Dallas, man, they were raving about Dak that rookie year with Ezekiel Elliott. And then when Ezekiel had a few issues with trouble and stuff like that, the whole city was turning on Dak. He's losing games for us. He's not the answer. Then they start getting better again, and it's Dak again. Listen, see, whenever you get to show yourself, when you're in a perfect situation, great O-line, weapons, running game, and you look great, that's the Tom Brady effect to me. You look elite because you got everything around you looking well. And then when they snatch half of that from you and you don't look like the answer, you look like basically how Tannehill did in Miami without stuff. You know this guy is basically a guy who's going to play his role. He's the middle of the road guy. He's the one that shouldn't be making over $25 million right now.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing I feel about Ryan Tannehill. He's a guy who needs a good team around him, just like Tom Brady. I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody say. Tannehill may not have as many rings as Tom Brady, but I think he'd have one if he played for the Patriots all those years.
Would that be crazy if Brady walks and that's who end up going to New England?
I wouldn't write it off. I wouldn't write it off. I could see Belichick trolling the Dolphins like that.
Bro, man,
I ain't gonna lie. I was so mad. I would burn my Tannehill jersey. I really would because I would burn.
Dude, I wonder where all these quarterbacks are going, man. There's so many free agents. It's crazy, man.
Well, guess what? We're about to find out. We're about to find out next week. It's coming.
I wanted to make one last statement because I gotta hit the sack. Dude, they've been talking about on the radio about how Tunsil on the radio ESPN here. Tunsil is in control of that contract, man. Apparently, whatever he signed, man, I haven't looked into the fine lettering in this thing, man. But apparently, man, dude, TD was right again, dude. If this dude wants to come back to Miami, he could actually come back, bro. I don't know if he wants to take a team friendly or how that works out, man. But he could actually get out of Houston and come back.
Yeah. I wonder, are they allowed to tag Tunsil?
I have no idea, man.
And
Don't you have to play
for the
at
team
least-
that drafted you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You do.
Or you in the fifth year option, you can't exercise. Can they exercise that?
But
I think
does
it's either that or you have to have some kind of tenure there for a few years before you can tag. But
Man, I'm gonna tell you now, if Tunsil was in a Miami Dolphins uniform, if Tunsil made his way back to Miami, man, the league would be investigating the Dolphins, man.
hey, man, it's crazy that you said it a few streams ago because they were talking about it on the radio, bro, and I was like, damn, dude, that's what TD was talking about. That
man, Marquis Mark just said Tunsil would have to come dirt cheap. He is way too costly now. Are you kidding me? I would give Tunsil $20 million a year right now. It ain't got nothing to do with me overpaying him. You're not giving Tunsil $20 million. You're paying Tunsil $20 million. You put it like this: you're paying $20 million for Tunsil, 2 first rounders, and a second. He went and did his job for us. He walked in the office and said, "I trade me for that."
Yeah.
So Tunsil came back to Miami. You aren't paying Tunsil $20 million. You're paying $20 million for Tunsil, 2 first rounders, and a second off the top. That's
basically
what all.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the 2 first rounders, bro.
He just got to clean up the penalties.
Of course. But I think that's the Houston thing, maybe.
But he was one of the highest graded left tackles this season, and I think he was the highest graded in pass blocking, even with all those penalties. So that should say something. I mean, the kid's bad. People forget how young he is too. And honestly, next to quarterback, I truly believe the offensive line, across the line, those are some of the hardest positions, to adapt in terms of when you're translating from the collegiate level to the NFL, because now you're up against big, strong men. You know what I mean? You're not against strong boys, right? So, and that's where the big boys are, is in the trenches. So,
and I agree, man. And I keep pronouncing that wrong. Or keep those 2 first rounders and get a cheaper left tackle in the draft. Hey, you're right about that. I'm just saying my dude just the troll. But you're actually correct. That would be the right thing to do. Not bring back and get a good option that's cheaper, regardless. So I
actually think, guys, and I think we're going to move up from the 18th. I think they're going to move up to get a tackle to go along with whatever quarterback they draft. I truly believe they're going to move up from 18th because of the run on tackles that could potentially happen from like 8 to 12. I really think they're going to, and that's not including if the Giants take one at 4. So I really think they're going to move up for one of those guys, man.
But if you were going to just sit at 18, you wouldn't be okay with just taking like Josh Jones, because I think he'd be there.
I'd feel more comfortable taking Josh Jones at 26. Same with Austin Jackson. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking Austin Jackson at 18. Like, if I'm going to use that, I want Thomas, Wills. I'm not getting Becton or Wirfs. I'm dreaming at 18. But, I mean, I would want something like that if I'm in the teens.
Yeah.
Nah, it was no insult, Marky Mark, man. Hey, don't take it the wrong way. Listen, guys, it's getting late right now. I think that it's a good time to end the stream. I think we had a really good one tonight, man. We had over 240 people in at one point. Right now, we still have 205. As always, Reason, man, I appreciate you coming through for me, man. And great content tonight, man. You're always on your stuff. You always know your stuff. And Esteban, bringing that heat as well. Hey, listen, Esteban, man, you got to hit me up, man.
Yeah, I will, bro. I will.
Hit me up, bro. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys coming through tonight. EM had dinner with Tua, so he couldn't make it. Mr. Ball Game's all fine and well, guys. Just giving you all a heads up. Just been very busy.
TD, it is officially Wednesday the 11th, and we are officially 7 days away.
Yes, we are. Oh my gosh, don't get me messed up in the head.
Five days from the tampering period.
Exactly. And y'all keep Finsanity5 in your prayers. She just wasn't feeling well today. She's gonna be all right. But y'all just keep her in your thoughts. So shout out to Finsanity5. We wish you the best. Can't wait to see you again. But outside of that, man, it's been a great day, guys. The Dolphins, baby, we ready. The time is coming. It's the countdown. Y'all better get ready for it. I hope y'all ready.
7 days, turn to greatness, bro.
Yes, Super Bowl, baby, this year.
That's right.
This year. All right. Hey, y'all, don't forget to go check me out on my other channel, TD Sports Talk, where I talk more about NBA at this time of year. NFL talk will be over there as well. But right now, the NBA season is revving up. So if you like all sports, come on, check me out on that channel. And we're going to grow that platform as well. We're at about 1,229 subscribers over there. So we're going to keep growing that and making that something as well. And that's for all the sports fans. Go check me out on my other channel, TD Sports Talk. All right. You'll see my picture as the avatar logo, so you'll know it's me. But yes, I'm going to start during the day going live a lot more on that channel. I'm still doing my Fins Talk, but I'll be going live a lot more on that channel, bringing content to all sports fans. And y'all come join me, man, if y'all want to hang out with me throughout the day. And again, I'm going to still be over here at TD Fins Talk, no doubt. It's just right now, at least for the next week, it's slow information, and we don't want to oversaturate certain things. So I give it to you as we get it, but we got those 14 picks now. We got the compensatory calendar. We ready to roll, baby. Now it's about cashing in. Flores and Greer, you are now on the clock. Yeah. Free agency has arrived. You got to get it done, man. But again, this TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. We will see y'all soon. Peace. We out, y'all. The reason. All right, guys. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at TD Fans Talk as well. Thank you, everybody who donates to the channel. I saw a lot of those come through recently. You can also hit me out up on PayPal, which they don't take all your money. So you can hit me up on PayPal and Cash App if you want to donate to the overall success of the channel. Always greatly appreciated. Those who are members of the Patreon, got some stuff coming for you all. Appreciate y'all patience with me. Love y'all. It's TD Fans Talk. I am out. Peace.